The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlights, king of peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on their light. Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast. So unreal, YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Cats on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby? And shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlights, king of peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on their light.
What up, YouTube? Welcome back to Dolly Vision. This morning, we are going to be talking about the Texas flash floods. Death toll is at 110 as we speak, with over 170 people missing. They're still pulling bodies out the water. Trigger warning. But before we go into all that, I'm going to need you guys, all my early morning people. Dolly usually don't do an early morning show. I need you to hit that like button. Leave your DNA all over it, of course. And if you're super cool, share us on your Facebook. Don't be greedy. Give to the needy. And Dolly needy as hell, okay? Plus, if you're watching out there and you brand new and you haven't subbed up yet, make sure you sub up the channel. Ring the bell for notifications, and of course, feel free to share my ugly ass face everywhere. Share it everywhere, okay? Let me give my warnings. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact, just my opinion. People, completely satire. Callers' opinions are theirs and theirs alone today. Not to reflect on the Dolly. Don't get me sued, people. Don't get me sued. Also, today we aren't really talking true crime. So everybody's damn guilty, okay? Everybody is guilty today. And the biggest one of them all is don't try to be Dolly at home. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. So, I'm trying to mix a little bit of these world events with a little bit of my true crime. Later on tonight, I will be back with a true crime show. I just like to mix it up so we're not constantly talking about the exact same thing every day here on Dolly Vision. This tragedy that's took place in Kerrville, Texas, horrible situation for everybody involved. People went out to celebrate their 4th of July holiday, got caught up in a storm. Right? It really didn't even rain that much, but this place is like a bowl. So everywhere that rained around it, it all poured right into Kerrville and flooded the rivers. The river rose almost 30 feet in less than an hour and submerged campgrounds, RV parks. Homes were literally floating down the street, ripping trees out the ground. Just mass devastation. So already, most of the girls at the Mystic Campground, which is a Christian camp for young girls, a lot of them from the ages of 6 to 10 years old, not with us anymore. Sad situation that occurred. Sad situation. But we got to, for us religious people, we got to look at it as God needed those children for something else. Everything in this world happens for a reason, and God called some of his children home, right? We got everybody. We're all gonna meet that day someday. Hopefully for Dolly is a long time from now. I ain't in no rush. But there's one thing: we're all gonna meet that day. We never know what it's gonna be from and the reason why. So that's the good reason to be a really good person and tell your loved ones every day how much you care about them and how much they mean to you. Because when you step out that door, you never know if it's going to be the last time you ever walk out it. Dolly, my cousin-in-law's uncle was a youth pastor back when it flooded in 87. Richard Coons. Okay, now I want to talk about this before we get into the latest news and we start showing videos that, this did happen in 87. 10 teenagers drowned in the flood that were camping along the river there in Guadalupe camping area, and they drowned. A lot of people were airlifted from there in 87. So this flood ain't the first. A lot of people are saying, this flood is a 100-year flood. Well, maybe to be this bad, but this river has flooded before in 1987. And of course, 10 teenage people lost their lives during that last disaster. Now, at that point, they knew they may need an alert system to alert people that this river could flood. But at the time, they didn't have the financial resources to put in these air horns. Now, I can understand you didn't have the money in 87. But then again, you didn't have the money in 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 2000, 2001, 2000. And I could go on and on and on. They just blew this off. They allocated money for all kinds of other things, but not to alert people along the river. And listen, I can understand you don't want to put 1 million air horns out to alert every location. But especially these locations where we have groups of kids. A Mystic Campground had over 800 young ladies alone at that campground with no way to alert these people that this storm was so severe. At 1:30 in the morning, they put out an alert. They didn't even tell people to vacate. They just said flash flood warning. At 3:30, they put out another one. Flash flood warnings, but didn't tell people to evacuate. 4 something in the morning, they put out a extreme get to high ground order. By then, it was absolutely too late. And these people along the river did not stand a chance. Okay, did not stand a chance. Could this have been avoided? Should this been avoided? And in my opinion, I say absolutely yes, it should have been. Now they're talking about, over 25, 30 years later, they're talking about putting in these air horns now that we have a death count possibly that could go up as high as 280 people. Okay, 280 people. We're only at 110 right now, but most of the survivors that were in trees have been pulled out of trees, and we're going days into the search. And as every day, every minute passes, these are critical minutes. These are critical days. The chances of people surviving become less and less likely. Did they drop the ball on these people? I would say absolutely yes. Now, that's just my opinion. Now, I'm not knocking the searchers or the people to rescue people. They have done an awesome, awesome job saving, over 900 people from these waters, right? So they have saved a lot of lives, but there's still a lot of lives left out there that they're searching for. And if some of these governors and senators and mayors and these politicians hadn't to put money in other places that most likely wasn't needed and put this money into a warning people about the risks of this river and the flooding, a lot of these lives, I believe, could have been avoided from being lost. Now, like I said, at 110 people every day, the death toll is climbing. There's still families out there that don't know where their loved ones are. And more searchers and more help is moving into Kerrville from all over the country. Even people, rapid water deployment teams from here in Virginia, where I'm at, have been dispatched to Kerrville to help in some of the conditions as the water recedes. They're starting to find more and more people that were trapped underwater. Stories are coming out about people who survived this and the conditions of what it was like to experience this. So it had to be a scary situation. And I'll be honest with you, I never took these flash floods real seriously because I live still right now. I live right off a river here in Norfolk, right? So I never take it that serious. I see some flash flooding, maybe a foot and a half, 2 foot of water. And over the years, you see that little bit of water and you see these flash flood warnings come in. You don't really take it serious. You're going to be like, oh, it's just a foot of water. Or it's just 2 foot of water. No big deal. It may come up to a little bit on my porch. But to see something so crazy happen with not even a lot of rain, okay? Only 12 inches of rain fell, okay? 12 inches. But it all poured right into the Guadalupe, right? Poured right into that, and it rose that river 30 feet in a matter of hours. I have never in my life seen a river rise so fast as we watched that unfold. And, technology is great. There's cameras everywhere. So we get to see things pretty much in real time nowadays. And we got to see that river, watch it how fast it could go from no water to being almost a dry lake bed to being 30 foot up, going over the bridge, crashing houses into the bridge, snapping trees like they were twigs. Like I said, very little warning. We can't go back and we can't change the past, but we shouldn't be in a situation like this if people would have done their damn jobs in Texas. Now, in my best Donald Trump voice, I would walk in and fucking fire everybody, okay? Everybody, city planning. Listen, the main people, you need to go. You need to go. You heard it. Dolly said it. Fire them all, okay? Get new people in there that will do right by its citizens and the people of Kerrville and Hill County and all these places, because if you don't learn from this and you don't correct the mistakes, it's destined to happen again. And Sweet Leaf says you should shut your mouth. No, Sweet Leaf, you should shut your mouth, okay? Now I'm putting you on a timeout. You just got earthquaked, okay? You just got earthquaked. You don't tell Dolly to be quiet, because I'm just saying what the people are thinking. This ain't the first flood. This won't be the last flood. And it's not going to be 100 years before there's another flood. Weather seems to be getting worse with everything that's going on our planet, right? And if we don't take care of this planet, storms, earthquakes, all these things are going to just get worse. Okay, so we ain't got 100 years for these people to plan out how to alert people near this river that's done took the lives of many. We need to do it now. Step up your game, do the right thing. You know, if some of these politicians would have took a pay cut, well, we had so many people dead right now. So all I'm saying is we need to learn from the past, because if we don't learn from, let me play this video. We are doomed to repeat it. All right. We want better leadership in our country. All right. Who's being rude to you? I'm not worried about people being rude. So if you notice, guys, I have took the comments down off the screen. So if you want your comment on the screen, I'm going to put super chats on the screen only, because people say crazy things. Shannon, like this one right here. Thank you so much. See, your super sticker goes up. So if there's something I'm missing in the chat, it's like, I think a super chat's like 99 cents or something like that. I will pull those up, but other comments I'm not, because people say crazy things. And I keep, before I can, like, I'm trying to read it, so I blow it up to read it on the screen. And by then it's on the screen. And trolls have been coming in and saying hateful things about Texas and how certain people deserve to die and a bunch of racist stuff. So I just said, okay, from now on, only thing that's coming up on the screen are the super chats. And that way we don't have to deal with trolls leaving crazy comments from me just clicking through the comments. And the comments used to scroll underneath the call-in number of what you guys were saying. So when people watch the replay, they could see it. But with people being so ignorant and hateful lately, that I just thought it's best not to do that. So thank you, Shannon, for your super sticker. That is awesome. Welcome to the Blessed Express. You're rocking with the best when you own the Express, okay? And Dolly got to eat, okay? Dolly got to eat. So, serious situation going on there in Texas. Searchers, we need to be praying for them, that these people are recovered swiftly. Hopefully, we can find some more people alive. Like I said, the time is of the essence, because, you know, people can only hang on to branches and trees and stuff like that for so long, or if they're trapped under rubble or debris and still alive, we got to locate these people. Coast Guard and people have been flying helicopters all over the place with, of course, flare technology, infrared technology, even at night. So night and day, they are running, still searching for people actively to be alive, hopefully to be alive. A lot of people believe this is turned straight to a recovery mission, right? I pray that that ain't the case, and there's still people out there. People, they put out a press release yesterday because people flying drones. Now, you remember I said I would go down there and fly a drone and help look, but apparently right now, when they hit a state of emergency, it is against the law to fly a drone in that area, because the other day a drone flew into a helicopter. Okay, so somebody had their drone up, just trying to do their part, I guess, to search or watch or be a spectator, you know, and these helicopters are flying really low, and it hit a drone and caused the helicopter to have to do an emergency landing. Not only that, it did damage to the helicopter. So now they are out of one helicopter. Now, that helicopter could have been a helicopter that saved somebody's life, okay, or found somebody and rescued somebody. So now they're one helicopter less than what they had, because somebody was flying their drones. Now, there's two different types of drones. This for educate a little bit of people. There's drones that weigh more than 256 grams. These drones are really dangerous to helicopters, airplanes, Cessnas, anything like that, because they're big enough to do damage. Okay. Drones, they consider drones under 256 grams don't have to be registered with the FCC, because they're so small. If a helicopter or something hits it, it's going to break it like a little toy. But some of these other drones are so big that it actually does damage to planes, helicopters, and you could cause people to crash and lose their life. Okay. I think it's 256 grams because my drone right here is under 256 grams and it has all the capabilities of a big drone. I just got it in a smaller version of the drone. So it don't have to be registered with the FCC. That's it folded up. But if you was to unfold it, of course, it appears to be bigger, but it's actually a really light drone with a small battery pack. And because you don't want to do damage to helicopters and planes, but it is illegal right now to fly anything, even this 256 under 256 grams. It is illegal to fly this right now because the helicopters are so low doing search and rescue that you could hit somebody and cause them to crash the helicopter. So for anybody out there watching this and you may be a drone pilot and you want to do your part to help, they don't want you to do it. They definitely don't want you to do it, especially with all this heavy equipment in the air, these planes and these helicopters and stuff like that. Not to use them. And they basically want people to stay out of the way and allow the experts, professionals, to do the searching. Okay. And the reasoning behind that is they don't want people getting hurt out there, and then they have to go out there and recover you trying to save somebody out there. Okay. So let me share the screen with you guys. Thank you for subbing up the channel. Let's add this. What is this over here?
Tragic update on the casualties from the catastrophic flooding in Texas on the 4th of July. Texas Governor Greg Abbott confirming today 110 people were killed and at least 173 people are still missing across the state. Crews are pressing on by air, by boat, and on land as we learn more about the victims. ABC's Jacqueline Lee is on the ground in Texas with more.
The death toll rising in Texas as officials announce more than 85 bodies have been recovered in Kerr County alone, more than 100 dead statewide.
To put this into perspective, just in the Kerr and Kendall counties alone, there are far more fatalities than there were in Hurricane Harvey.
Navigating difficult terrain and armed with a walking stick, hiking boots, and a lot of faith, Robert Brake Jr. has been desperately searching for his missing parents since Friday. Their cabin washed away in the floods.
The Grimes Funeral Home was just set up initially as a morgue. We checked with them hourly, walking up to them, giving my parents information, the pictures. You were hoping not to see anything and hear anything. And when you didn't, you had an ounce of hope.
But this morning, he realized they weren't coming back home.
But if my parents being gone meant the world got to be a better place, got to be a better place for just one day. People were kind.
Poor guy.
With kindness and love, and people prayed a little harder and brought them closer to faith. I'm willing to accept that loss.
At a press conference earlier today, officials pressed about the timing of notifications during the flash flooding.
Right now, this team up here is focused on bringing people home. That's our focus.
See, they're trying to avoid that whole, this should have been avoided. Everybody's been trying to pass the blame off. But listen, this wasn't the first time this flooded. It wasn't the second time they flooded. They knew things like this could happen. They just didn't want to put the money towards it. And they should be truthful with their citizens. Hey, look, we spent the money. Okay, we got new squad cars. We got new police cars. We did this and we did that with the money. Be honest to the people, right? You spent the money on other things. People wasn't warned in time, and we have a bunch of dead children. Just be honest. I think people just want honesty, and to avoid that, they're saying, "Hey, we're bringing people home." We understand that, right? We understand that, but here we want to know the reason, and you have to do that, right? Because if you would have done the right things and put the right plans and measures in place, we could have avoided this. And it would have been, even if it was tragic and we lost people, would we have lost as many people? Right? We're talking about little beautiful kids, 6 to 10 years old. And this man, you know, even his parents are older. Listen, you know, you lived a life. It's hard even to lose old people, but to see all these kids, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, you couldn't put air horns around the campground areas where there's small children that may not be able to survive a flood. Oh my God. It's hard to accept that, you know, somebody needs to be held responsible. And other than Mother Nature, listen, this is an act of Mother Nature, right? It is an act of Mother Nature, but we know Mother Nature is going to act up, and we got to be able to warn people when Mother Nature acts up. I live here where there's a lot of hurricanes, okay, here in Virginia. We've done a lot of things to protect ourselves from these hurricanes here in Virginia, and our alert systems are constant. Evacuation locations are constant. When this stuff, when there's even a thought of it coming in, the news, everybody's all over it, tracking every inch of it, every minute of it, tornado watches, evacuation points, exit routes, getting people off the islands. We're prepared. But you look at this, very unprepared. And you know, listen, I ain't blaming one person. I'm blaming the whole system for failing these people when they had since 1987 to fix what had happened, to avoid another 1987, and they did not do it.
All those questions will be answered, but the priority right now is bringing people home.
During his cabinet meeting, President Trump confirming he plans to visit Texas on Friday.
Somebody asked, why do people sleep so close to the river? Because the river is beautiful. Okay? When you look out your window and you can see the waterfront, just a beautiful place to be on a good day. During a crazy storm, probably not the best place to be. Okay? But if you don't know, you think it's just going to be another rainy night, and next thing you know, boom, water surge is 30 feet. Most people ain't expecting that. And it was the 4th of July. People always go down to the water to celebrate. Even I was on the water on the 4th of July. We went down to the ocean front, watched the fireworks. A lot of people go out on the lake, drink, fish, camping. It's just celebrating the holidays because people are off work. And so there's naturally going to be more people on the river, on the lakes, than there would have been if it would have been any other day.
We don't want to get in anyone's way because, that's what happens. The president goes and everyone's around focused on, I don't want anyone to focus on us.
And we're learning more about the victims. 8-year-old Mary Grace Baker died in the floods. 13-year-old Blair Harbor and 11-year-old Brooke Harbor staying with their grandparents when the flash flooding hit. Their bodies found together 15 miles down the river the next day. And the man you heard from earlier who is missing his parents says he will continue searching, but also to help others find their loved ones. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Kerrville, Texas.
Hey guys, sometimes when you come to a natural disaster zone, words can't even describe what you see. And I think a lot of residents are feeling that right now. Obviously, over the last couple of days, there have been search and rescue efforts. Now, a lot of that has been transitioning just to the rescue efforts. We're now day 5, day 6, give or take, out from this.
She meant recovery efforts, right? Because she said from rescue to rescue, but she meant it's switching to a recovery effort.
And so it becomes a lot harder to find these folks alive. They're doing everything they can, boat, helicopter. We've seen it all here across the hill country of Texas, currently in Kerrville, but really anywhere along the Guadalupe River here. I'd say about a 20, 30 plus mile stretch has seen something so similar to this. Now, some of the hardest hit areas have been very difficult to get into. We've seen local law enforcement blocking those roads off so residents and communities can start to put back the pieces.
Look at that.
Most people want to do good and want to help. help. We've seen that come out and show out, showing the true nature of the Texan spirit here. But there obviously are a few non-do-gooders, and that's who they're really trying to focus on in this general area. But really, it's the scope of the flooding, the damage immeasurable when you talk about cars floating 20 feet into the tree branches still, cabins from local youth camps, a big staple of this region as well, getting swept away. And unfortunately, Camp Mystic losing multiple young girls and camp counselors to the floodwaters there. At this point, though, the flood came so fast and so early, and that was the biggest piece as to why this was so deadly. Multiple rain gauges in the area reported 20 inches of rainfall, but this area is so quick to drain all of that into the Guadalupe River, which is why it only took about 45 minutes to an hour for some of these spots to rise over 20 to as much as 30 feet in terms of that storm surge. We've had crews that have been following search and rescue efforts, and while they were out, they ran into one man. Take a listen to what he endured on that horrific morning.
We lost everything that we owned, me and my wife, and it was just the little children that was floating away. It's what got me. I didn't care about my home or my possessions. I really didn't care about me. It was just those children that were always watching in RVs running. Lights were still on because it was powered by the batteries, but it already put the cord.
Can you imagine that? Now listen, the people that have to experience this and see this, like you just heard this man say, he didn't care about none of his worldly belongings. All that stuff is replaceable. But he's seen these kids floating down the river. The nightmares that you will have from seeing something like that is unbelievable. I mean, just heartbreaking. You're seeing a grown man, an older man who's probably seen a lot in his life. I mean, a lot. From Texas. You know he's seen a lot. PTSD. Absolutely. This is type of stuff that will scar you for life, and images that you will never get out your mind. Much as they want to find these people, the people that do find them, it leaves a mark on those people forever, an image that you will never ever forget. And prayers to all them heroes that are out there making these sacrifices to recover these people. Purity angels.
Out and had other friends down there that I knew on the island. They got washed away.
And it's not an isolated instance either. You walk around the streets and almost everybody has a story just like that right along the river. Again, hard to put words to this, and a lot of residents now are calling for siren systems to be put into place. One of the local judges in the area said that they did not have a local siren warning system. So the question is now, what do they do next in order to prevent something like this from happening? Because being a local to this general area, I'm from Austin, Texas, but I would come down to the Guadalupe River in my childhood. It's a safe haven for so many, and they want to bring that feeling of safety back to the hundreds of thousands of people that fill the Guadalupe River, especially on the July 4th weekend. And I think a lot of the tourists coming in as well led to the catastrophic nature of this and how many people are now reported missing. Governor Greg.
Now, I want to touch on that. Right now, they're saying 173 people missing. But that's just early numbers because so many people went there on vacation or people didn't know they went there. So as people are reported missing, these numbers could rise more than 173. So 110 dead, 173 missing, which you have to presume that these people are not alive or they wouldn't be missing. That puts a death total at over 280 people if nobody's recovered. Okay? Let's pray that ain't the number. But at least in this flood, 280 people. So sad for something that could have been avoided. They were talking about putting these air sirens in 1987. All right. So many years ago. But nothing. It took something like this for them to want to make a change. Should it have to come to something like this to make something when you see something that's broke, you fix it. Okay. You don't just walk past it when you put money somewhere, it's best to put money places that are going to save lives, right? They didn't allocate their money correctly, and they didn't think it was that serious. Well, now they know, right? But that's a day late, a dollar short.
Abbott did an aerial tour earlier yesterday, and he has reported that there could be up to 161 people still missing, and that's already on top of the 109 people confirmed dead, most of which out of Kerr County, but multiple counties spread out across.
Oh, yeah. In the conferences, they get mad when you start talking about the money and why wasn't money allocated to put up these air sirens, a better warning system, because they know they failed. So, right, as soon as you say something to them like that, they avoid it by saying, hey, we're rescuing. Look at us. We're saving people. We're doing this. Yeah, but maybe we wouldn't have to do this if you hadn't have failed the people of Kerr County, right? If you hadn't have failed these people, would we be saving them? Would there be so many gone? Mother Nature may have took some lives, yes, but would she have took so many? And they don't want to answer those questions, right? They're going to avoid that. They've even blamed the National Weather Center for giving not good information. That is crazy.
Across the hill country of Texas. Thankfully, the response has been fantastic here in terms of local government agencies. Over 20 states have sent different agencies out here to help in the recovery efforts. You can't go but a mile without seeing somebody helping to rebuild what once was here. Guys, back to you.
And that man's reaction, the man we just heard from in the orange shirt, that reaction says it all. Haley Myers live for us in Kerrville. Haley, thank you. All right, let's bring in Dennis Price, the founder of Heroes for Humanity.
When you see grown-ass men on TV crying, you know it's bad. I mean, they've seen something so horrific that words can't even explain it, you know? And like he said, he wasn't even upset about losing his house and everything they owned. What brought that man to tears was seeing them kids in that river.
Which is a group of veteran special operators who have been on the ground assisting with rescue and recovery efforts since this tragedy struck. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. You're a faith-based organization, and like we said, many of your volunteers are veterans, and they have capabilities that other people do not. So tell us what you are doing right now as we enter day 6.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having us on. I think Haley covered it very well, that there's a lot of do-gooders out there, and a lot of people are trying to come together. We were there at Heroes for Humanity since pretty much day one, and we went to the ground, hit the ground running, and started getting to work. Immediately, all these multi-agencies started using us due to our backgrounds in as veterans and special operations veterans. Most of these dives that are happening are guys, because we're combat divers, either in Force Recon, MARSOC, or any of the other special operations. We're able to go out and dive and help these people. A lot of our training is for scout snipers. We're looking for anything that breaks the baseline and anomalies, shine, outline, contrast, and background. We're able to, because some of us are still in or retired from the military, we're able to get in the military and civilian helicopters, do search and rescue from there. So we're just trying to, sow seeds of hope in other families and provide closure to them while doing anything we can to serve the people, just like we did in uniform, and as we're doing now.
The level of debris in these dives is unbelievable. I can't imagine this is a normal dive operation, if there is such a thing. What are some of the challenges that you're facing right now?
All right, guys, we got like 700 people in the room, and we only have 277 likes on the video. All right, that's one of the challenges that I'm facing. All right, you guys, do me a quick solid favor. Hit the like button. Okay, it's absolutely free. It don't cost nothing. It helps us in the algorithm so more people see the video. So take 1 second for me and please hit that like button. All right, I'll show you how you do it. Look, you just hover your mouse over it and you click it. All right, if you're on your computer. If you're on your cell phone, and I'm sure many of you are, all you do is tap the thumbs up button. Takes 1 second, free, won't destroy your day. CB, thank you.
Dolly, for keeping it real.
That's the only way I can keep it. That's the only way I know how to be is absolutely real. And I think a lot of this, if money would have been allocated correctly, and especially after the last disaster in 1987 with the 10 kids losing their life, this or some of this could have been absolutely avoided. All right. And what happened at Mystic Campground should never happen. Right? They know them kids are out there camping. And I don't care if they would have sent all the first responders out there first. Get those kids to safety first. We know what comes first, right? If a ship is going down, who's first? Women and children are first. You know why that is? Because us men, we rough and tough, right? We rough and tough. We're survivors. It's natural to rescue women and children first. Like, there should be nobody pulling a dude off a roof of a house before they go save 600-700 kids. Women and kids first. Kids and women. They always say women and children first, but I'm saying kids first, then women, and then you get us ugly dudes last, okay? Because us ugly dudes, we survivors, we can make it, all right? We got better chances of hanging onto a tree limb for longer, possibly, okay? So I just have a hard time not thinking they didn't fail those children, knowing them kids ain't got phones. It's in the middle of the night. Most of them camp counselors were dead ass asleep. They're Christian people. They don't stay up all night like Dolly, right? They go to bed at a normal time so they can get up really early and, you know, play games and go canoeing and all the things they do at these summer camps. So these people were pretty much sound asleep. Horrific. And thank you for everybody that's been liking the video. Did we get it up a little bit? Did my speech get you? I'm hoping it did. I'm hoping it did.
So right now, I mean, like you said, it's a lot of diving, and one of the challenges we're having right now is we do need more cadaver dogs and deconfliction with cadaver dogs. And then, as you see in the videos and all these pictures, is there's a lot of debris and chunks of houses and RVs all piled on top of each other about 20 feet high, and under that debris is about 5 feet of muck. And
we're going to jump over to this real quick.
Behind the camera, we have dozens of volunteers here helping the effort, clearing shelters in Kerr County. Now back here out in Fort Worth at Meacham Airport, Cassie Davidson, Vice President of Wings of Rescue, also with the Humane Society of North Texas. Goodness gracious, this is an all-hands-on-deck effort. Y'all have rescued more than 100 animals out of the disaster zone in Central Texas. What's next for these four-legged friends?
So this is our first of 2 flights. We'll be flying again tomorrow out of
Good
St.
morning,
Angelo.
Dolly.
So
Thanks
over
for
50
all
of
you
these
do.
pets will be staying between the Humane Society
Thank you, Angela.
and the SPCA of Texas. We have had to work diligently to find emergency foster placement, but we're ready. They're on deck.
Yeah, my goodness, as soon as
Look at all them animals.
It took mere minutes for dozens of people to offer up helping hands, taking these animals off of the flight. Here they all are. We see dogs, we see we see cats of all ages, really. So when these animals are unloaded, you being here, having such a part in this entire initiative, how does it make you feel knowing that?
Thank you for subbing up.
Disaster zone here in North Texas.
I mean, it's such a tragedy what happened in Central Texas. I think I'm with everyone in the state of Texas that our hearts are with them. So when Wings of Rescue saw what was occurring, we knew we had to jump into action. And so we deployed our teams, and here we are this is actually our second flight.
Wow.
So our first flight was flying in humanitarian and veterinary relief last night. This is the second flight and a third tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of the coverage, understandably so, about the human victims. But whenever natural disasters occur, so many animals lose homes. They lose their owners as well. You guys playing a part. These animals were already in the shelter system down in Central Texas. So we're kind of clearing way. When I asked you about capacity at the Humane Society, you said this is a nationwide effort. Other shelters had to make room across the country because y'all had to fly animals out just to make room for these guys.
Correct. We flew out 40 pets on Monday morning to Nebraska, and we continue to transport pets to make space for natural disasters. We will always step in and help the community just as they would with us when Texas faces hurricanes.
Yeah. And talk to me about the numbers here this morning. How many animals were on this flight? How many are staying here in North Texas? Because some are finding shelter in Utah as well.
Yes. So we have over 50 pets that will be staying here in North Texas, divided between the Humane Society of North Texas and the SPCA of Texas. The 75 remaining will be flying on to Kanab, Utah, to the Best Friends Sanctuary, where they will find forever homes.
Yeah, these little guys staying here in North Texas.
These are Humane Society of North Texas kitties right here.
A lot of people can help. You guys asking for donations, foster homes, vitally needed as well. How can people help you guys help out these animals?
I think the most dire need right now for the Humane Society of North Texas is just to keep emergency fosters on deck, so they can visit our website, hsnt.org, and learn more about emergency 2-week fosters. That's it. That's all we need. And then donating for foster care.
Okay, you have touched on it multiple times throughout this interview, but the work is far from over. What's next for you guys?
Sure. So Wings of Rescue will be departing from Fort Worth and on their way to Kanab, Utah. And then tomorrow morning, we will be in San Angelo, really the epicenter of all of this in Central Texas where it started, and then flying pets out of San Angelo back to Fort Worth again tomorrow.
Cassie Davidson, thank you so much for taking the time here this morning. Hey, just like Cassie mentioned, you can help these kitties out, these doggies out too that have landed here this morning by offering up a foster home. If you're able to do so, it is vitally needed. If you're not able to do so and you are able to donate money, that's a really incredible way of helping out as well. Back to you guys.
Oh, just amazing work being done. Thank you, Paige. Appreciate it. It is 7:42. Texas Rangers got a much-needed boost from the offense on the road last night. We got highlights coming up.
Plus, we've had a few problems.
All right, so let's jump back over here to what we were at. I just wanted to show you guys that you know, we think about all these people, but we forget about the animals. And there's a lot of animals that lost their lives too. A lot of animals rescued.
In that 5 feet, I mean, there's people in there and everything. So we need more extraction equipment, excavators, and all that other stuff. And it's just going to take a lot of time, a lot of manpower, and that's why cadaver dogs are just a hidden gem in this.
Yeah, and that's the tragic reality of it all, is that you need those dogs. And yesterday, Dennis, the number of people who were reported missing, I mean, just dramatically went up to 161 in Kerr County alone. Did that revelation surprise you? I guess it could go to show that it really was impossible, and it still remains very difficult to determine the number of people really impacted by this when you're talking about a rural area where there are also campers involved.
No, to see that number of 160 plus, that was heartbreaking. I saw that news yesterday when they released that, and it was mind blowing to me. And just as Haley covered it earlier, it's such a tragedy because those people went out to celebrate on the 4th of July and they woke up to mourn. That's what made the influx on that. So to see it, there's still 161 people plus missing. It just means that we need to continue to combine, unite, and everyone should be on the ground. And this should be the focal point of America until those 160 become zero. And I think everyone's doing a really good job. I think the state and the federal and all these multi-agencies who are using us at Heroes for Many and other volunteers, man, it's just such a massive blessing. And everyone just needs to keep uniting in this effort until that number becomes in the head and into the single digits and then zero.
Uniting and praying. As we mentioned, you're a faith-based organization, and I'm sure many who are mourning the loss of so many are going to be turning to that Bible verse that those who believe in me live even though they die. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate your efforts.
Just wow.
All right, welcome.
I want to pause this and bring this up.
Devastating flooding there. Right now, the death toll stands at 110, but the governor saying 173 people are now unaccounted for across the state. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is in Kerrville with a powerful story this morning. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Will. You know, folks here had suspected that the number of missing would rise, but to hear that number of 173 missing is truly staggering. I've been speaking with EMS officials who are telling me that they are going to scour every single inch of the Guadalupe River all the way down to its terminus at Canyon Lake. That's 125 river miles away. It's a process that could take months. That, as we're learning, this incredible story of survival by a mother who clung to a tree. Heroic, and you're about to see her. Her name is Lindsay Roberson.
This morning, the staggering scale of the recovery effort ahead. 173 people still missing from the catastrophic July 4th flooding that also killed at least 110 people. Texas Governor Greg Abbott flying over the disaster zone.
We have to find every single person who's missing.
The flood's now the deadliest natural disaster in Texas in nearly a century. And for the first time, the point of view from a flood survivor, filming as trees and brush are swept by. That's 15-year-old Jack Roberson holding his mother Lindsay's phone, yelling to her in the darkness, her words barely audible.
There's boats and helicopters coming.
What? I am. I can climb higher, but I'm okay. Are you high? Mom, are you in a tree?
Wow.
There's boats coming.
And those weren't boats, but cars floating by. At one point, Jack filming 18 minutes straight. The floodwater roaring as loud as a jet engine. They woke up to an alert at about 5 a.m. Water already in the house. The family swept out.
The doors wouldn't open, but a big glass pane, side pane of our door fell down just as we were trying to figure out how we were going to get out. And my sis.
So until that moment, you were trapped in your own house by the pressure of the water.
Yes.
I spoke to Lindsay Roberson, the mother, from her hospital bed.
My body already at that point was so badly injured for whatever hit me, I believe, when I was underwater with that house going over me. It wasn't a matter of how could you swim and where you wanted to go. It was a matter of the current and the rush. It was just terrifying. Like there were roofs, there were cars, there were boats, trailers, all these things just rushing down the river. And I grabbed hold of that next spot, and the next thing I saw coming for me was a house. And
oh, God.
I don't even know how it all happened.
She suffered a severe gash in her leg and multiple other injuries. And she ended up clinging to this dead tree, still in her nightgown. She, her husband, and son made it to safety, but her two daughters were at Camp Mystic. Their cousins, Eloise and Georgia Jones, also there.
At what point did you know that something was wrong at the camp?
Well, around 2 a.m. or 3, another cabin had run into our cabin saying there's water in their cabin and they can't stay there. Yeah, that's when we realized like something was wrong. Yeah. And our cabins are high up, and for them to be flooding, it's like, something's wrong.
The camp saying 27 campers and a counselor perished. Several are still missing. But Lindsay's daughters are safe. Nearly 80% of the deaths from those devastating floods happened in Kerrville.
Once they start moving a lot of this debris that is dammed up by the bridges, they're going to find more bodies, because a lot of that stuff is, piled up, and inside the piles of stuff is most likely human remains, because, people clinging on to things, and then all that stuff kind of hits a point to where it can't go any farther, and it starts piling up. So these big, huge piles, they're going to have to go through, and likely when you get to these certain points in the river, these parts that have been dammed up by debris, is where you're going to find a lot of these remains.
County, part of a region known as Flash Flood Alley. This FEMA map illustrating how Camp Mystic is built right in the heart of that high flood zone. And this morning, frustration over the county's warning systems soared.
Maybe it's time that we take Camp Mystic and we move it uphill a little bit. Still near the water, but, you know, let's take at least 30 feet uphill a little bit. The Happy Jalapeno, thank you so much for your super sticker. That is super awesome of you. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Blessed Express. You ain't blessed unless you rocking with the best. Thank you for tuning in to Dolly Vision this morning. I hope you're having a great day. And if anybody tries to mess your day up, Happy, throat punch them, okay? I give you permission. Right to the throat.
I'm pissed off that this amount of death has happened this quick, this fast. We need to get the system. We need more than what we have.
We presented those frustrations to county officials.
The community here is asking these questions. What happened? When did it happen? Was the emergency manager awake at the time? Did they push the button to issue an emergency alert?
Sir, it's not that easy when you just push a button, okay?
It's easy, okay? It's easy. You can make a phone call. That's called pushing buttons, okay? It's a little more than pushing buttons. Dude, you failed the people. Okay, take his sheriff badge, shine it up, turn it sideways, and stick it right up his you know where.
A lot more to that.
There's a conversation that's had. I understand. So did it happen, sir?
I can't tell you at this time.
That is, we learn about the lives taken to.
That means absolutely not. That means no, it didn't happen. That means the person that gave the warning was asleep.
Animals grieve too, but their grieving is in silence.
Yes, Susan. And that was good to see the Wings of Hope people come in and rescue all those animals. And with this, you know, so many people are worried about the people and stuff, but we forget there's a lot of pets, a lot of cats, a lot of dogs that were, you know, caught up in this with families. And unlike people, it's hard for an animal, unless it's a cat, to cling on the trees. You know, dogs usually ain't good at climbing trees. I mean, there's a couple of them out there that can climb some trees, but you know, cats are good about clinging on the thing, but they ain't good at swimming. Where dogs are good at swimming, but not that good at clinging on to things. So thankfully, you know, there's a lot of displaced animals, and if you want a pet, you should reach out to their website, donate, maybe foster an animal. Because that's a good place to get a pet that needs a home, right? That their family may not be with us anymore. They may not have a family, the animals. And to me, my pets, my Chihuahua and little Rangy in there, his little the French Bulldog, they're like my kids. Okay? I couldn't even imagine. I mean, that'd be the first thing that I would take out my house is the dogs. Everything else is replaceable. The only thing you can't replace is not only human life, but the life of your pets.
Soon, 8-year-old Lindy McCowan, remembered as a shining light who filled our lives with indescribable joy. Mary Grace Baker, a fellow 8-year-old camper who had recently celebrated her first communion, her school calling her a bright light who loved to dance, she loved art, and she was in Little League. And 62-year-old Tanya Berwick, who worked at the local Walmart for a decade since its opening, her work family remembering how her dedication, warmth, and spirit touched so many of us over the years.
Now, with 8-year-old campers dying, there's been a lot of scrutiny on Camp Mystic, but public records show that state inspectors approved the camp's emergency plans on July 2nd. There's something else that we dug into. Public records here in Kerr County show that the Kerr County Commission discussed the issue of a flood warning system 20 times since 2016, but installed nothing new. George.
Well, that's
okay. Y'all hear that, right? Discussed it 20 times, but never installed nothing new. All the way back to 2016. Never installed nothing. Left those kids with no warning system whatsoever. And in the city, the inspector said, "Oh, that's safe. It's safe." That inspector needs to lose his job. That sheriff we just heard talking needs to lose his job. They're incompetent. Okay? And when people can't do their job, what do we do? Okay. In the words of our president, you're fired. Okay. You're fired. You got to go. Let's put somebody in there that puts the needs of these kids and lives first. Okay. That's what I believe.
Something. Okay, Matt, thanks very much.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Prime on the ground here in the flood zone in Texas. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are here in Hill Country for a second night where 5 days after that powerful wall of water rushed through, the painstaking search for the missing continues. And all around us, we see instances of pain and fortitude hand in hand. In the face of unthinkable loss, residents are coming together to help each other. Volunteers mobilized quickly, many coping with their own losses, gathering much needed supplies, and volunteer rescue crews have descended to try to find the missing. We spent some time with the Cajun Navy this afternoon. The massive search involves heavy equipment sifting through the chaotic piles of debris. Tonight, the death toll from the 4th of July horror is at least 110, 30 of them children. Today, the Texas governor confirmed a grim number that 170 people still remain missing. At hard-hit Camp Mystic, where 27 campers and counselors were lost, pastel-colored trunks are now lined up after the muddy floodwaters were cleared from bunkhouses. There are countless stories here buried beneath the mud. We want to start with one family's grief, a dad just trying to find his son, all while helping others in the community trying to find closure as well.
You can set the girls up here and see if anything starts floating. You know, they can bring a chair and just look at the river.
His house, gone. His hope, not quite.
If you look over here, they have already cleared this debris field and have marked it with an X.
A mark on a tree has become the symbol of thinning hope here in Kerr County, Texas.
They are going to be tearing out that debris pile right there.
But Thad Hartfield remains determined, not for a miracle.
Okay, yeah, I looked into this, the Cajun Navy being down there. That ain't the bad Cajun Navy. Okay, the bad Cajun Navy is allegedly the United Cajun Navy. Okay, the Cajun Navy is the legit one. Okay, it's the legit, because there's a few different organizations that use the Cajun Navy. There's like the Cajun Navy, there's the Cajun Navy 206, there's the United Cajun Navy, and some of these people are not the best people. All right, in my opinion. So the Cajun Navy that is in place down there, I believe to be the good Cajun Navy.
But for an answer.
Yeah, I'm just doing what a parent would do. Nothing else matters right now than to take this effort to find, my son and these other kids.
His 22-year-old son, Aiden, and a few of his friends and girlfriend were staying at Dad's second home for the 4th of July. Now a vacant space, known more for what's gone than what's left. What was this here?
Lindsay, that was a fireplace into the interior of the house. On the backside was a riverside porch.
Is that pillow from the house? Did you recognize that?
That was from a camp upriver called Heart of the Hills, and all of the girls went to camp there.
Scattered shards of shattered lives. But the unforgiving floodwaters took something deeper when the water rose. His son, Aiden.
I got a call at 4 a.m. from my son, Aiden, and they woke up to 4 inches of water in the house, and I told them to immediately get to the highway. And so as he got to the back porch, the water immediately rose from 4 inches to 4 feet in a matter of 4 minutes. And Aiden was uncomfortable going through the rushing water, didn't think he'd make it. And something happened. His girlfriend, Ella, and the other girl, Reese, were losing their footing. And Aiden jumped in the water after them. They got swept away. Within less than a minute, the phone went dead.
Wow.
Do y'all need other excavators?
I mean, that is the most horrific phone call you could get. Your son is telling you, Dad, I'm scared. And he said in a matter of 4 minutes, it went from 4 inches of water to 4 feet of water. Molly, go heavier. Hey, what's up, Molly?
I have access to 4.
Wearing the same clothes he's had on since the 4th.
2 teams working upriver for a mile and downriver for a mile. Okay? Got it. And so who do we have with this team?
Thad is at the forefront of his own son and others' rescue mission.
The house had deposited down the hill in 2 large piles. Yesterday, we did find one of the kids in the pile.
Oh my God.
And one of the kids was found about half a mile down river. So we're still looking for Aiden and Ella.
Is there any hope that you're holding out that he may still be alive?
I think it's remote at this time that they're still alive, but we're right now, I would say we are proceeding as if this is a recovery and not a rescue. My desire is to just not leave Aiden and Ella to the river if at all possible.
I have to say, you're so strong.
It's gonna crater. It's gonna crater. But he's my baby. Yeah.
You know, he may be strong, trying to hold it together there, but you know, when he's by himself, he's probably in tears, you know, because men, we don't want to cry in front of everybody. It's like man law, you know, but when this man probably gets by himself and he has that first memory of his son, he probably breaks slam down into tears. And at this point where you're searching to recover your son, you got to stay strong, right? Because you can't be a million pieces and put the search together and organize and do all the things that need to be done to do this type of stuff and be an emotional wreck. But I'm sure when he's by himself, them tears flow.
The brutal floodwaters may have taken his home and his son, but not his resolve.
See that cluster of 3 trees? Nobody's checked that.
And in the face of near certain heartbreak,
I think he might still be alive, so you can try to find him.
Thad still manages to find compassion and love for others.
Don't go anywhere. I'll be right with you, okay?
He doesn't speak of despair, just of love and the weight of waiting.
I know every parent would want to brag about their kids, but he was a kind and gentle soul on this planet. And I think his spirit is being channeled to these volunteers that have come to our aid and to the community.
His backyard, now a field of loss, where silence is heavy, but a load this father will continue to carry until his son is found. Do you remember the last words you said to Aiden on the phone that night?
You wish you would have said, "I love you, son," but we were in get it done mode. And so I'm trying to get him to high ground. And that was the focus at the moment.
Let me pause this.
And welcome back, everyone.
I want to bring this up right here.
Day 6 of the search and now recovery effort about to get underway in just a minute. I'm Jacob Rascone, live in Kerr County. Good morning, Ugochi and Steph.
Hey, good morning, Jacob. Thanks for joining us. And I'm Ugochi Loka here with Steph Simmons.
Crews are now in day 6 of the search and rescue efforts.
And those missing include at least 5 campers and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic. Those tasked with the search say the water hasn't been the only issue they're running into.
We do have a lot of people who came here in campers, RVs, and camped along the river. And, you know, if nobody reports them missing, if nobody is looking for them, we may not know that they're missing. And that really has been the big challenge for this thing. Recovery and rescue operations are ongoing and they'll continue, but getting a handle on exactly how many people we're looking for has been tough.
Yeah, and crews continue to pledge that they will not stop until every single person is found.
Now let's get back out to Jacob live for us this morning in Kerr County. And Jacob, you met up with some of the crews who are part of the search efforts.
Yeah, we've met a lot of them, and this is true on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, but we really got a different look when we went on this ride along with the chief of the Ingram Fire Department just on top of the hill. She's been here for 50 years. So she was there responding as a teenager to the 1978 flooding and then the 1987 flooding. And then now she is, of course, in charge. So the area, Kerr County, just the whole search area is separated into 4 main fire departments. and each of them have hundreds of first responders and volunteers that they coordinate. Here, yesterday, they had 700, and they are so thankful for donations like these. Truckloads of water bottles. Also, beyond this, there are Gatorade and other drinks. They've got snacks. People have donated tons of fuel and food for the horses. It really has been impressive, and as the chief tells me, it's part of what moves her to keep going, seeing the outpouring of support from the volunteers and others who are just donating. So here's a look at some of what we saw yesterday with the chief and one of her relentless volunteers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, you bet. Thank you all.
Scores of new searchers sign up every day.
And we're working both ways.
The Ingram Fire Department and 700 helpers cover 70 square miles.
Doing everything they absolutely can to bring the missing family members home.
The massive operation led by Chief Diana Backus.
I worked the Comfort Flood in 1987.
In 5 decades on the job, this is the worst thing Chief Diana's ever seen.
I saw RVs being slammed up against trees and literally exploding. I saw children floating in the water begging for help that we could not reach.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I was muted. I was like, isn't that horrible, the thing she's seen? Imagine seeing a child in the water and it's screaming for help. And you know if you get in that water to help them, you're going to die. And there's nothing you can do, right? Because if you die trying to save one kid, you could have saved a bunch of other people if you would have just stayed doing it safe, right? So some of the things this woman sees is just horrific, and I couldn't even imagine it. I could not even imagine it.
And that takes it out of you.
Are you okay?
I can't say I'm okay, but I'm going to do my job.
This was underwater and there was a car floating.
Retired firefighter Tammy Landon, one of countless tireless volunteers.
At the time, you deal with it. Later on, it's going to hit everybody. I was born and raised here. Pretty bad.
It is organized chaos with growing impressive resources.
Good morning.
Including the helicopters like these. We've also seen boats, ATVs, dogs, horses, and other equipment. When I told the chief and I told other fire officials here and volunteers about the press conference with the governor about the 161 people still missing, which they had not heard because they were busy working, a couple of them started to weep, knowing that that is their effort. This is what they're here for. They know, and they've told me the somber reality is they haven't found anyone alive since the day of the flood.
Wow. Haven't found anyone alive since the day of the flood. And, you know, we still got at least 73 people missing. So, you know, expect the death toll to rise. And this is just a fair estimate, over 200. Okay. And if we keep going the rate we're going right now, we're talking 283 people possibly have lost their life in this flood with 12 inches of rain falling. Unbelievable. Almost unheard of. Like, that's not even a lot of rain. But the way, you know, Kerr County sits at the bottom of a bowl and it raining that much in surrounding areas and it's all pulling into the Guadalupe River, we seen what can happen. And if it happened once, it can happen again. They need to start immediately putting in place safety measures that have been neglected for the last, I'd say, let's just say 10 years. Okay? But really, it looks like they've been neglecting these warning sirens for over 30 years, since 1987. I can't even remember 1987. That's how long ago that they were trying to put air horns in, air sirens, so they could alert people that this river could flood. 1987, the waters rose. Bunch of campers were trapped. A lot of rescues took place. 10 teenage kids lost their lives. And I know what you're thinking. 10 people, Dolly, that's not a lot. The hell if it ain't. One life is one life too many. Right? A lot of this could have been avoided if the proper measures would have been put into place. Dolly, look at the floods in New Mexico. Houses were swept away. It's terrible. I mean, these floods have been bad. We had the floods here in Virginia. We had the floods in Carolina, and we still ain't rebuilt here in Virginia from the floods here. And because we had dams that broke, and it came in from that hurricane and dumped so much rain that it flooded the dams, and dams burst and flooded most of Tennessee, parts of northern Virginia. So, and when me and PJ was in Tennessee searching for Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers, we came back through the parts that were affected by the floods, and I had never seen nothing like it. It looked like somebody dropped a missile and just cleared the whole place out. What was complete cities and houses and just gone. Just a big pile of debris. Right, that they had been bulldozing into a big, huge pile to just, move the stuff. And it looked like the place was just completely leveled. And you don't realize that water can do that much damage until you really see the scale of it, right? Like, you see it on TV, like we're watching this right now, and we're like, oh man, this looks bad. But you would never realize the scale of it without being there, boots on the ground, to go, oh my God, talking total devastation. We're seeing little clips and little sound bites of what is really going on, but on the ground, the people that live there, it's a lot different than what we're seeing.
But they have found many of the bodies. They find them every day. And they know the closure that they're helping to bring to the families who are missing the loved ones. I know that this is really heavy.
And guys, if you're just tuning in, do me a favor. We're going over all the news. There's some live updates that are coming at 11. Make sure you hit the like on this video for me. It won't take you but a second. Absolutely free. Don't cost you anything. Help spread awareness. Press that like button for me. It'll only take you like 3 seconds. And then once usually I hit like 1,000 likes on the video, I shut up, right? I shut up about liking the video. So it'll help me from not having to say it 1,000 times today. All right. So do me a favor and hit it. We're at 525. That means I'm going to have to say it 480 more times. And you can avoid that by just liking the video. All right. Thank you, guys. And I appreciate everybody that has been subbing up, all the new people. Welcome to Dolly Vision. And all my regulars, thank you. It's good to see you guys this morning. I'm glad y'all could be here. It's very rare that I get to do a morning show with you guys. So usually I'm late night, but I'm here with you guys today. So surprise. Okay, surprise.
Heavy to talk about and to think about. But when we were inside of this command center, they had pictures, more than 100 of them, laying on the ground from campsites and from RVs and others. They know that this is grueling mentally and physically and beyond words, but they know that they have to keep going. They can't stop searching. And now knowing that there are so many more people still missing, they know that they're going to be here for weeks doing the same thing day after day. Steph and Ugochi, back to you.
It's very difficult work, but impactful work. And those families, as you just said, Jacob, they do need closure. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again in just a few minutes. Meantime, we are taking a look at before and after pictures of the floods. And you can see the water really making an impact on how wide the river is. We're continuing to hear from some of those survivors as well, with the common theme being that it was just happening so fast.
It rose from our ankles to our waist in less than probably 15 minutes. It was really terrifying because even once we got inside the cabin on a little bit higher ground, we almost immediately saw some lights we thought were a rescue boat maybe or something. It was all so fast. It was my car was floating by. I guess the alarm was triggered by all the water rushing in. It just floated by the window. And I was really scared. I've never been in anything like that before.
Okay, guys. So yeah, the people mentioning the New Mexico floods. Oh my God, these things look devastating. Give me 1 second. I want you guys to see this. This is scary. This is absolutely scary. This is going on in New Mexico. And oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, river rises 20 feet in 30 minutes. 20 feet in 30 minutes in New Mexico. Wow. See, this is what I mean about weather changing and severe weather. And man.
Something big right by that house.
Oh man.
Oh
my gosh, y'all look.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
House gone.
He said, "Sheesh." Oh, the house. Oh, the house. Oh, the house. Shit. That house is came, bro. Oh, look at that thing.
All I can say is holy shit. Okay, just happened in Texas. Now New Mexico hit with a 20-foot surge and it taking out houses. I mean, we just watching houses disintegrate. Mother Nature is not playing. I mean, not playing at all. Over a dozen swift water rescues confirmed. So before we can even pick up the pieces in Texas, here we go in New Mexico. Oh, God.
you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm chill. I want you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm chill. Oh, shit.
Something big right by that house.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh, y'all look.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god!
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Sheesh! He said, sheesh! Oh, the house! Oh, the house! Oh, the house! Shit! That house is came, bro! Oh, look at dumpster! Hey, homeboy's in the house! I gotta go! I want you! I got you, I got you, I got you! I'm chill! I want you! I got you, I got you, I got you! I'm chill!
I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable. And there's more footage. Let me pull this
Sour,
up.
look at this. This is just coming into us. Some of these videos.
Okay, let's pull this over. This is just unbelievable devastation.
Here, this one shot by a person named Charlie Rivers. Look at that, the water rushing past buildings and homes. You can see some of the debris there as well. Let me get right to Bill Cairns. You hate to see this, Bill, as we are coming off of, the fourth day, now fifth day of that flash flooding in Texas. This is not, first of all, it's daytime. It doesn't look as bad, but help us understand the risk here.
All right, so we're in New Mexico. We're in the mountains. This is near the Lincoln National Forest. And when I first saw this video, I was like, oh, this is old. This is last year. I believe it's almost from the same vantage point, the same person.
Wow.
They had a flash flood last year that was very similar to this. I was just on their Facebook group for the community there, and they're saying that this year was worse than last year. There was a fire upriver of this, and a thunderstorm, the fires take away all the vegetation. So when it pours and rains, you get these fast-moving debris flows. I did see a video from a different angle. We'll try to get that cleared and show it to you later, of a house actually got caught in that flood water, went down, taking out trees. The house was getting destroyed. So I know at least of one home that just doesn't even exist anymore because it got caught in this flow going down the mountain. There is a river gauge further downstream that went from 2 feet to 15 feet in about 90 minutes. So another really rapid rise on a small river in a pretty rural portion here. Hallie, we have other stuff that's going on too I got to get to. We've had tornado warnings that have been in place outside the Philadelphia area. So this is that flash flood emergency which continues for the video you just saw there. Let me take you to the East Coast because these thunderstorms are just plowing through Philly right now. There'll be people losing power. The tornado warning has been dropped, but from Trenton, capital New Jersey, right along to Delaware here. This is the area that we're watching 60 to 70 mile per hour wind.
All right, let's bring this in.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Whole house.
A critical flash flood emergency is currently in effect for Ruidoso, New Mexico, as rapid and intensely heavy rainfall rates are triggering devastating and dangerous flooding. This alarming situation is particularly pronounced within the burn scars left behind by the recent and destructive South Fork fire, which have rendered the landscape acutely vulnerable to such deluges. Storm reports streaming in directly.
Wow. Okay, hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Why did I lose my count of how many? Y'all can still see and hear me, right, guys? I'm having some technical issues. Give me a thumbs up if everything's good. We good? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, just making sure.
From the National Weather Service office in Albuquerque paint a grim picture, indicating that floodwaters have already surged into numerous homes across the picturesque village, forcing residents to abandon their properties with little warning. Additionally, several key roads throughout Ruidoso are now completely covered with water, rendering them impassable and effectively cutting off sections of the community. Emergency water rescues are actively and tirelessly underway across the city as the Rio Ruidoso, the local river that typically flows gently through the village, has dramatically swelled, reaching a major flood stage, climbing to an alarming 15 feet. This rapid and substantial rise in water levels poses an immediate and severe threat to anyone in its path. Photos shared widely by the National Weather Service Albuquerque office on social media platforms vividly depict the Rio Ruidoso's astonishingly rapid and dramatic rise, especially noticeable in the Hollywood neighborhood of Ruidoso, where the powerful flood wave is visibly making its destructive way through the river channel, eroding banks and carrying debris. The National
We're seeing, okay, sorry about that, lost sound. In a matter of minutes, we're seeing houses float down the river, get destroyed. I don't know if these places were notified that this flood was coming so fast, but hopefully we don't have the same type of life lost as we had in Kerrville. Okay? Frozen. All right. So let's jump back to what's going on in Texas. Hold on. That's just weather right now. Make sure everything's operating fine.
Weather Service Albuquerque issued an urgent and unequivocal warning to the public, emphasizing the extreme
Make sure
danger.
everything's operating
A
fine.
dangerous situation is unfolding in Ruidoso. A flash flood emergency remains in effect. Seek higher ground now. Do not attempt to drive through the floodwaters. The current will carry away your vehicle.
Wow.
This stark and emphatic message underscores the profound life-threatening nature of the fast-moving, debris-laden water, which can easily sweep away even large vehicles.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be trapped out in that. That is 100% for sure. That seems like, oh my God, right? So I'm going to start taking these floods a little bit more serious now that everything's been happening so bad. Brenda, thank you for becoming a member. That is awesome of you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I mean, devastation can happen in a matter of 30 minutes, 30 minutes that water rose 20 foot here in New Mexico. Same thing in Kerrville in Texas.
Thanks, Dolly. Unbelievable.
Yes, Connie. Thank you so much for jumping on the Blessed Express, keeping the $2 drive alive. And hopefully, these people have seen this coming. This is not the first flood here. Apparently there was one like this last year, and hopefully nobody gets swept away and we have people dead in any of these houses. I hate to say it, but the flood situations don't seem to be getting no better across the country. And they're saying that a lot of the landscape was burnt in a fire. And that now that they don't have it there, the water just when it rains, it flows. So, Dolly $2 food drive giggle. Thank you, Misunderstood, being here with us today. Just crazy. It's just crazy to see this. Let's see let's jump over to this.
You see everything on the news, you see pictures online, you see everything through a phone, and then when you get here, it's just way worse than you think, and it's just it's really
Thank
surreal
you,
to just
Dolly,
be here
for
and
all
be able
you
to help
do.
out people
Heart
and
suit emoji.
just do anything you can.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yeah, there's still massive damage there in Hunt. Even getting to that area is tough, and in some cases it's impossible since many of the roads into and out of that area are still shut down. Yesterday, we saw
that's why I said Kerrville
working even in one location along the river, installing brand new power poles. So they are slowly but surely getting the infrastructure around here back up and running. Lauren and Shannon.
Yeah, Brandon, we've seen, roads and bridges opening back up in that area. One step at a time there. They are trying to rebuild and clean up the area.
I saw a lot of people yesterday were trying to get like the sheetrock in some of those homes. I just didn't realize how many homes were impacted too. We've been talking a lot about all these camps, but a lot of people's homes too, right, Brandon?
Well, and all the mobile homes as well, and even the camper trailers. There were a lot of RV parks along there, and those camper trailers, many of them were washed into the river and broken apart in the process, and that's also the result of a lot of the numbers of the missing people. A lot of those came from some of those RV parks. So, yeah, there's all kinds of debris that washed down the river, and as you can see behind me, got caught up in a lot of these trees.
Yeah. Thanks for the update. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he says disaster preparedness and recovery will now be a top priority in the upcoming special legislative session.
And this
now it is.
To tour the damage left behind by the flooding in Kerr County. Dan Godwin is here to explain. Dan.
And Shannon, Governor Abbott.
Thank you so much, Misunderstood. Says food drive train. Thanks for this, Dolly. I almost got enough for breakfast. Okay. I almost got enough for breakfast this morning. Dolly got to eat.
Has receded, now providing a better view of what's left behind and the steps required going forward. Afterwards, talking to reporters, the governor tried to send a clear message about the process now underway.
Texas will not stop until we finish the job. We will not stop until we identify, recover every single body. We'll not stop until every road is rebuilt, every inch of debris is removed. We'll not stop because we are a state that cares about our people, cares about our communities, and we'll be with them every step of the way.
There are things that we can talk about, but it is too early to commit to know the specifics until we actually talk to the members of the community and hear what they think. Talk to the experts in the field. Talk to the first responders.
Abbott was joined on the aerial tour and at the news conference by Texas House Speaker Dustin Burrows. The governor has already called a special session of the Texas legislature, and he says measures to help with flood recovery and ways to prevent such catastrophes in the future will be on the agenda. The governor adding the process will also include investigative hearings conducted by both the House and Senate into the reasons this weekend's disaster resulted in such a heavy loss of life. The upcoming special legislative session set to begin on Monday, July 21st. That session limited to 30 days. Shannon and Lauren.
Dan, thanks. It is 8:38. Some overwhelmed animal shelters in the flood zone getting some much needed help from a group of volunteer pilots today. We'll have details on that when we come back.
Choo-choo.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. And thank you, Moto Mom and Connie. Y'all keeping the drive
Sister
alive.
Karen here. Connie's house sold. Hope you get breakfast. Hungry face emoji.
Hope I get breakfast. All right. Thank you, guys. And thank you for jumping on the Blessed Express with me this morning. You ain't blessed unless you riding the Express, all right? And I ain't talking about the flood water rapids. I'm talking about, oh my God, so far that what's been going on, it's just unbelievable. Even the things in New Mexico and Kerr County, Hill Country, like, you know, this special session they're going to have to, you know, make a plan. What do you need to plan? Y'all been talking about it since 1987. Put up an alert system. Plan solved, okay? We don't even have to have the meeting now. Dolly just solved it for you. Put up some notifications so people know when the river's going to damn flood. Case closed. Save yourself a 30-day damn meeting, all right? Where y'all just getting paid to sit around and play grab ass. And take that money that y'all going to use for that meeting and put it into some fucking alert system so people don't die at the river's edge and we don't have to worry about little kids down there camping, right? Y'all need 30 days to fix something y'all should have fixed 30 years ago. This is when, you know, government fails the people. Just fix the problem, all right? They've been walking by a broke system for 30 years, and now all of a sudden there's hundreds of people dead. They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to fix it, but we're going to talk about it for 6 months before we do anything to help people. We're going to pass the blame around to everybody, but take responsibility for not putting something in place years ago. Uh-oh, PJ's chipping in on breakfast. Thank you, PJ. It is nice of you. Welcome to the Blessed Express. All right, now you're going to have a good day at work today, PJ. When you donate to Dolly, good things happen, okay? Even though I'm going to spend that $2.99 back on you, you know, thank you for the donation, babe. You're beautiful. Pat says,
get you some biscuits and gravy, Dolly lol. Smiley face emoji.
I like biscuits and gravy. I like food, okay? I like food. Who don't like food, right? I think everybody likes a little bit of good eating every now and then. We don't have sirens in the majority of Texas. Well, I'm saying places that are known to flood. Like, it's known. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. But if you know and 10 people have already died there and you done rescued hundreds before, I think that's a pretty good indication right there that we need to put something in place. Okay. We need to put something in place to save people. And, everywhere don't need it. Just heavily populated places do.
Impacted by the flooding.
Yeah, landed a flight this morning. Fox Sports Paige Ellenberger live at Meacham Airport with more. Paige.
Hey, ladies, good morning. Behind me, you can hear the plane has refired its engines right back up. This plane landing at about 7:30 this morning. On it, more than 130 animals, dogs and cats were on board. They all came from shelters in the disaster zone in Central Texas. It was vital they got out in order to make room for pets that are missing from their families and to give those shelters time to clean up and really, in some cases, rebuild after the flood. 75 animals are here at local shelters in North Texas. We're talking the SPCA and the local Humane Society. The rest, they're going to find safety in Utah. Those are the animals that are currently on board. They are getting ready to fly to Utah. Those that made the trip with the animals say the work is far from being over.
All right, we're going to bring this in.
Our partners have stepped.
We've seen about the dogs.
Morning, and thank you for joining us. We continue our special edition coverage on News 4 San Antonio today. Because of technical issues, we're also coming to you live on Fox SA. Joy has a look at the roads this morning.
Thank you, Redfish.
Kaye is off today, so we go to Joe for the weather. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Marisa. We'll start with a look across our 4 zones this morning, and it is a overcast start, but we're pretty dry across the area. Mostly cloudy start, and then partly sunny through the day with a 20% coverage in the afternoon of showers and thunderstorms. 410 West in Babcock, there is very light traffic throughout the city. I've traversed big quadrants of the city so far and haven't really seen anything as far as accidents or major delays, except that one area that you mentioned, 35 North downtown.
And Kerr County. The total number of people killed across Texas in flooding from this storm system is 110. That is more than the number of people who died in 2017's Hurricane Harvey. The city of Kerrville held a special council meeting to declare a catastrophe that allows them to delay responding to Freedom of Information Act requests for a week. News 4 San Antonio.
Look, they did this so they didn't have a Freedom of Information Act. It delays it for a week. See, this is what I mean about the system, right? Let's do this emergency so we don't have to give them information. Did y'all catch that? Let me back that up a little bit.
The city of Kerrville held a special council meeting to declare a catastrophe that allows them to delay responding to Freedom of Information Act requests for a week. News
delays them for Freedom of Information requests for 1 week because they don't want to answer questions.
110. That is more than the number of people who died in 2017.
I just want y'all to hear it one more time.
The city of Kerrville held a special council meeting to declare a catastrophe that allows them to delay responding to Freedom of Information Act requests for a week. News 4 San Antonio's Christina De Leon is live in the town of Ingram at an RV.
We want our questions answered immediately, right? Let's delay answering questions, right? They put the people off. Don't answer the people, right? Don't answer the people. We all have to wait the next week, but we can't answer that right now. We can't answer that right now. The people demand answers.
Park that was washed away. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Marissa. Good morning, everyone. This is the Blue Oak RV Park in Ingram. And let me show you now that the sun has risen. You can see the Guadalupe River off in the distance, but it was a swelling river on the 4th of July. And now that a lot of excavators came through and wiped things out, you could see where the RVs were, and they all got swept away. Now, the city of Kerrville last night also voting to extend their disaster declaration, giving the city manager simply more power to seek out help for state and federal resources. But over overall, as you can imagine, because of what we're seeing and what we've seen the last few days, there was several senses of sadness during that meeting as the community continues to mourn and overcome this devastation. It was the first city council meeting since the 4th, claimed the lives of so many in Kerr County. You know, there's lots and millions of cubic yards of debris to clean up, like what you've just seen, with bridges that are still damaged and parks that remain closed. Lots of damage. It's going to take months, if not years, to recover. But the public did voice concern for the city, the job that the city leaders have done in the last few days.
But you really need somebody to step up and just basically just say it's going to be all right. We, the residents of Kerrville, appreciate what you've done and are so happy to have you guys in the position you're in.
Yeah, the next press conference is set for 10 a.m. and we will be there and let you know more details.
Amen, Zach.
Live in Ingram, I'm Christina Villano. Send it back to you.
Thank you, Christina. Right now, families are hurting after the devastating floods. That's why News 4 is partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares, Texas Tragedy Relief. Just scan the QR code to help provide meals and hope to survivors and first responders who desperately need our help right now.
Here, down trees, light poles, all of that, but there is still kind of a silver lining, if you want to call it that. We have a cross that has just been put up here as of yesterday, as well as all of these down here. We believe they were knocked down yesterday, but these are meant to represent those lives that were lost, as well as the lives that are still missing out there due to the flooding. But we also spoke with a family who frequents this park. They are from Uvalde, but they spend time here in Kerrville due to the mother's job. And speaking with the daughter, she told me that going through what happened with Uvalde and now with this natural disaster, she just can't believe that this has happened to her beloved park.
Another thing that you wouldn't expect, just like what happened in Uvalde, is it didn't come.
Doodle bag, I'd be screaming both. Okay, we want answers, and I want my loved one found. You can say both at the same time. Okay, because the people giving the answers are not the people searching. So I would tell the searchers to please find my loved one. And I would tell the people that run the county, what the F have you done, right? Why hasn't these safety measures been put in place? Did y'all not learn from the last life you lost, right? Did we got to lose lives multiple times for you to fix a system that is broken? I'd be saying all of it. I'd be saying absolutely all of it.
Expected. And then you just also think about how it could have been avoided and if it could have been avoided, you know?
Later this morning at 10 a.m., there will be another press conference with the Kerr County officials. We do plan on being there, so we'll give you those updates on air and online. Reporting live, I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
Now your certified most accurate 4-zone weather with meteorologist Joe DiCarlo.
Well, look at those lake levels.
Looking at San Antonio here, we've got a bit of a delay happening downtown, about a 15-minute slowdown, in fact. I-35.
All right, we got a commercial here on our live update. But yeah, you can be demanding both. Find the people that are missing and who's responsible for the failure to notify these people and these kids. What do we not hold anybody responsible? Jimmy M says, I see lawsuits coming, right? I do too. I mean, 1987, we lost 10 lives, hundreds of people rescued. The water surged the same place. Right then they were demanding, oh, well, we need to put in air horns, sirens to alert people, but they didn't have the money to do it. Not in 1987 or 88 or 89 or 90 or 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 99, 2000, and 25 years after that, they still didn't have the money. All right. If they would have saved $10 a year, they would have had the money at least for a siren for Mystic Campground. Okay. If they would have just saved, let's just say the state saved $100. for the last 35 years or $1,000. It's total BS is what it is. That these safety measures should have been put in place. Anywhere that this has happened before and life was lost, we need to alert people. Okay? Put some damn signs near the river. Hey, this river can rise up to 30 feet. You can die in a matter of an hour. Camp at your own risk. Okay? Something. But, you know, I'm just saying, at least in the areas where there's kids. Okay? Or people camping really close to the water. But there ain't. And that is insane. So New Mexico just flooded, and it was a town. I know we just watched it. We were just watching the New Mexico floods.
Welcome back.
So it's 8:51 right now in Texas.
The weapons, tactical gear, and graffiti, they say, was part of a violent ambush at an ICE detention center in Alvarado, which is 25 miles south of Fort Worth.
These are some of the mugshots of the 10 people accused of shooting fireworks and vandalizing vehicles in an attempt to draw corrections officers outside. 2 members of the group then fired at an Alvarado police officer and unarmed correctional officers, according to a criminal complaint. The police officer survived a gunshot wound to the neck. The corrections officers were not hurt. A criminologist at Tarleton State University talked about the possible motivation for that attack.
One possibility is that they are related and that this is a national concerted effort, to go after first responders, which could always be. And they have not made that connection yet. The second possibility is that, in fact, this may not be related at all, and that these are simply copycats, that people are getting inspired to do this kind of harm on first responders because they're reading what's happening in other states.
The suspects are facing federal charges, including attempted
Lock 'em
murder of
up.
a federal officer. The State Department is warning U.S. diplomats of attempts to impersonate officials using artificial intelligence.
Yeah, this is interesting. It comes after the department discovered that an imposter was posing as Marco Rubio and had attempted to reach out to multiple dignitaries.
In a blink
Fox's
of an eye.
Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
Under your leadership, we prevented and ended.
All right, and here's the flood in 1987, right? And this is when they should have put in these measures to stop this from happening. Okay, I'm going to kill the volume on it. But I just want you to see some of the images of what took place in 1987 when the 10 teenagers lost their life and hundreds of people had to be evacuated from this same Guadalupe River. Now, this is from 1987, okay? It rose 29 feet, crest at 31.5 feet. It almost looks the same, don't it? Crazy how history repeats itself. Houses flooded. That's what took place in 87, right along the river. Cars floating down the thing, houses floating, people drowning. Look how deep the river would have been. You can see the T. It's not impossible to evacuate. You just got to give people time to evacuate. So,
how many are there of you? There's about 40. How many? 40. In the bus? Well, the bus, we all got off the bus when the bus started going down. Well, when we started going, the bus just... What kind of bus were you in? Church bus, Kerrville Road Base Church in Moss Springs, Texas. How many people were in there? About 40. All right, where did you go in? Where did the bus go in? Down there at the stop sign?
I expected to see a bus half in, half out, Mike Rice,
a news helicopter pilot said as he once again flew over the camp. There was nothing. Then, as we got really close, we could see 5 kids clinging to a treetop. These are 75-foot trees, but there is only 15 feet of tree sticking out of the water.
Wow!
There is another group of 7 or 8 on another tree, 4 or 5 in the river. There is nothing that prepares you for something like that. Rescue helicopter crews from Texas DPS and the U.S. Army's 507th Medical Division swooped in on the river to save the campers. Many survivors clung to trees for hours before being rescued. 12-year-old Kyle Hankins recalled, "The group in our tree, we started praying, asking the Lord to help us all to be okay." Ray Masterman from the local fire department joined Mike Rice and cameraman David Villarreal aboard their news helicopter to assist in the rescue. They soon spotted Melanie Finley in the river.
In the river. Look at that.
Masterman ties a rope around his waist and jumps in. Unfortunately, the currents are too strong and he can't get the girl. He reaches a tree and unties the rope. Mike and David try for the girl again. This time she grabs the rope, but as they pull her, she loses her grip. With the helicopter almost out of fuel, they have to leave to refuel. Melanie tried to grab hold of a tree branch, but a large log struck her in the back. She then was able to grab a hold of a cypress limb. A DPS helicopter found her and dropped a line. She put around her shoulder and waved to them she was ready. They pulled her up and swung over to an open field. Shockingly, Melanie slipped from the rope and fell 90 feet to the ground. The first known fatality of the morning, but...
Oh my God. Oh my God. She fell from the rope after all that and died. Holy cow. Holy cow. Okay. Well, now I just wanted to show y'all that so y'all know what happened in 1987. So when I go, oh, this could have been avoided, they should have put shit in place. Y'all don't go, well, no, they shouldn't have. That, you know, they didn't know this was going to happen. The hell if they didn't. Okay, the hell if they didn't. Y'all just seen the girl, that girl that we just watched swimming in the water. That was her ghost. Oh man, I thought they rescued her. I thought it was going to have a happy ending. She fell 90 damn feet from the rope. Oh my God. You know, whole buses going in the river. It's always kids too, right? Now you think they shouldn't have air? So that girl was fighting for her life and didn't make it. Kids in 70-foot trees. Water 30 feet deep, right? Oh, I can't even watch no more 1987. Good Lord. 87 was bad. A bad year right there. Good Lord. Damn. All right.
I'm Shannon Murray.
I'm Lauren Prisbel. We had some pretty heavy rain last night in the North Texas area. In fact, we could see a little more today.
Yeah, that storm brought almost 2 inches
Poor
of rain
girls.
across Grand Prairie in a just short period of time. This was shot by our photojournalist Noonie Tarango at a Target parking lot around 8 p.m. as people tried to get to their cars. There was a severe thunderstorm warning for the area at the time. Many places also saw flooded.
Right now, people are like, yeah, there's no excuse for this. Right? Dolly.
Doug from Tennessee.
What's up, Doug?
Hey, man. The government don't care about you.
I mean,
They don't care about you, Doug.
I think that's a state-to-state thing. I don't think that's everywhere. I think, you know, you got mayors and governors of some states that don't care as much as other states. Virginia, we have a really good alert system for everything.
But think about it. You never own nothing in your life.
That is true. Okay.
You never own your car. You never own your property. Ever. You'll never own your property or your car whatsoever.
Well, unless you live in a state that has no property taxes.
Right. But you still want, if you got a car, you're going to have tax.
Yeah.
You gotta have insurance now.
Yeah. I can't even build nothing in my yard without asking the Chesapeake Bay Preservation, can I build something? I'm thinking it's my yard. Why I gotta ask these people, can I build a tiki bar? But apparently I'm on a preservation. I can't dirty up the water.
At my place, I got 4 acres. They told me where I could put my damn place, and that's it.
Captain Kirk says Florida's doing away with property taxes next year. I need to move to Florida. I wish Virginia would do that. They've been killing me in taxes.
You got that right.
I mean, I pay nothing but taxes. I'm like, taxes are killing me. I'm watching my whole bank account go, woo.
I got taxes in Hamilton County. I got taxes in Ray County. And they both eat me up.
I got more taxes than money. I just did pay off my high-ass water bill. All right, so it is what it is, right? So this month, I've been strapped anyway, so I'm just in the complaining mode, right? Because they hit me so bad on my utilities that it just sent me back a little bit.
It's going up everywhere.
I know. I mean, people don't think about that. Utility bills are one of your major bills, and it just seems like the water bill keeps going up, the electric bill keeps going up. Everything just keeps, the price of food is outrageous. So, I'm gonna have to get me a second YouTube channel.
But they don't. I mean, seriously, they should have had that system up. We got this. This ain't just to bring this up. We got down here in Georgia. This guy repaired a ladder truck. Didn't have no license. He flipped the ladder truck on the fire department. Caught on fire and burned up. $68,000 estimated value of truck.
Okay, he did what now?
He worked on a ladder truck for the fire department. He test drove it. And he flipped it.
Okay.
No license to drive it, and it caught on fire and burned. It was a $680,000 vehicle. Is the value of it?
Damn! Did he get fired?
They had liability insurance.
Oh Lord!
The county had liability insurance on it.
They didn't even have full coverage.
No, over $500,000 truck, and they had liability insurance. And said, well, we couldn't afford to insure our vehicles. We got so many.
Oh, they sound like me.
That's government. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. I'm serious. If they cared about people, they would never be a homeless person in the United States of America.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of those.
There's a lot of people that like to be homeless because they want to be. But some people don't want to be homeless, but they can't afford to rent somewhere.
Oh, I know. I definitely know that. And rent, everything. Like I said, everything's going up. It's just like, it's crazy, even for me, right? Because I live on a small income, and when the prices start to go up, I start to feel it.
You got to quit eating. You got to quit eating that much.
I ain't been eating out that much.
No, I'm just saying, you have to quit eating out much. But now it costs so much to go buy the groceries, you can eat out just as cheap as you can buying groceries.
I know. Like, a lot of food gets wasted when you buy food and you only got a couple people to feed. And it's expensive to do that. When you cook a meal, you can easily just go buy a meal. So, I don't know. Dolly got to eat, though. I got to eat, Doug. I'm a fat kid at heart.
I don't eat very much. I'm not a big fella. I don't.
You like 7 foot, 300 pounds.
Yeah, I like a 22-ounce steak too.
Yeah, I couldn't even eat a 22-ounce steak bigger than me, Doug.
I ordered that on Father's Day, and woman said, "I want to see you. I want to see what you do with that." She come back about 45 minutes later, and my potatoes and green beans and the steak was gone.
Is that all of it done, wiped out?
It was wiped out. That one was I'd be damned.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, man, the government does not care about people. If they did, this stuff wouldn't happen, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a better job taking care of the people, I think, especially when you pay a ton of taxes. And they got them. I know my state got the money. They got all my money. So I know they got money. There ain't no reason there shouldn't be something in place. But, Texas.
If they don't, but if they don't, they'll come by and find a reason to get some of your money.
You don't pay your taxes here. They seize your property. They'll seize your cars. They'll seize anything you didn't pay on. They'll come tow that shit right off. Be like, all right, pay that note, or it ain't no joke.
And they won't care. If you don't pay it, they'll auction that shit off.
And
somebody saying, get out the house, it's mine.
This is what they done did. That around me, they done told all the roads. So what it is that you don't even have a place you can stop and pay. You got to have like an easy pass. So if you go past it, they charge you $2, right? But when they send you the bill, it already comes with a late fee of $10. So then before you know it, and you forget to pay it, next time you get it, it's $20 more. So then for you to go across the street, you done spent $32 in late fees, right? It's insane, right? I just go all back roads everywhere, because if you take the interstate, they get you, right? Because nobody ever pays it on time. And then they give you a $10 processing fee plus the $20 late fee. And before you know it, to cross one bridge costs you $50.
Yep, I found that out when I went up north there. I went through my first toll road. And I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I
slid $1, and then they didn't give me no change. I drove home.
Yeah, I'm still paying tolls in New Jersey. They sent me a bill not too long ago. I was like, damn. So, all right, Doug.
All right, man. Pray for all them people, though. Maybe they'll be smart, put a warning system in this time.
Yeah, about time they do. Peace. Yeah, so we just watched what took place in 87. Some of it. We didn't even get into all of it. And, we just seen that young lady fighting for her life. And just think if that officer, I thought I paid that bill, that Dolly. I think you did. I think you paid it. I think we're good on the New Jersey one. I think it's the Portsmouth Tunnel one that needs to be paid, PJ. And that was going to be, because if you don't pay it, then they give you the $20 late fee. Then they hit you with the processing fee. And to go through the tunnel, next thing you know, you spent $40-$50. And it's insane. So just everything's going up. The price of everything's going up. Electricity's going up. Water's going up. Food's going up. The drive down the road is going up. You know what I'm saying? So any way you look at it, they're trying to hit you for $1. And when places charge you that much money to live, like I said, you see people in here say they live in Virginia. This is the Commonwealth. Taxes are really high here. But we do have a lot of these things in place. Like our police force, they have top of the line stuff. The police cars are new. We've got a lot of new schools because of the lotto and stuff like that. So, I mean, we have good infrastructure, good warning and stuff. I hope so. It was the Portsmouth Tunnel. Oh my God. Definitely didn't pay that one. See, PJ? I'm glad I reminded you. So we need to pay that before it's $300. Because they get you. Them toll roads ain't no joke.
That's a lot of people. So thanks for the update. Appreciate it, Peyton. If you'd like to help out, the best thing, as we've heard right now, to do is to donate. There's so many that are in need of money, and that money can be used for the areas where it's really needed. This goes directly to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. You can scan the QR code on your screen. We have a link on our website as well, fox4news.com. You can go to the
Why did they want money now? Why didn't they put up a QR code to get sirens before this happened? Okay, you can raise money after everybody dies. Why didn't you raise this money before everybody died?
The donations, thank you for all the supplies, but right now we need to stop, figure out exactly what's needed.
Uh-oh, phone line's on now. Dolly. Hello.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey, you got to turn me down in the background.
Is Doug still on there? Or he gone?
Huh?
Is Doug still on or is he gone?
Doug is gone.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, anyway, this is Gianna. I haven't called you in a long time. I've been watching her for probably 5 years, well, ever since you've been on there. But anyway, I live in Louisiana. But yeah, we're like part of the real Cajun Navy. That's actually who I was in it. I was sitting here crying watching it a while ago because I'm a retired RN and I was working at LSU hospital, you know, the state hospital for the night that Katrina hit. And that was in 2005. And we had same as this shit. And with our floodgates, you know, that's what happened with Katrina. It wasn't that we got a bunch of water. It's because the floodgates broke. And we had 30 feet of water within 30 minutes. But like in the hospital where I worked at, our generators were in our basement. So, and I worked in ICU, but within 30 minutes, we had no lights or nothing. And
because the basement's flooded?
We had patients on the ventilator, and we bagged those patients for 3 days and couldn't transfer them out nowhere because, I mean, there was water everywhere. You know, you couldn't get on the all the interstates were underwater. I mean, people don't understand. I mean, that's why people were on their roofs and stuff. But that's when the Cajun Navy formed. That's who rescued me, actually, off the third floor of the hospital. They actually, all those guys like started from they come from Texas and Shreveport and that part of Louisiana, and 9 miles of them in boats and everything. And you know, they come and they were helping, you know, get people off roofs and stuff. And they got us out of the hospital. You know, those fucking people with the government. That's what Doug was telling the government. They were leaving us in the hospital. They got patients out there, but us, the nurses and the doctors, I don't even know if they got us out there, Dolly. We were there for 5 days before the Cajun Navy even got us out of there. So I don't know how the hell they even got us out of there. But I was gonna let you know they found a leg a human leg in Tennessee this morning. I mean, the 4th of July, in a river in Springfield, Tennessee, and that's 23 miles from Hendersonville.
Okay.
And there's 5 people missing in that area, you know, like Springfield area, like Hendersonville, and they counted Summers too. There was 5 of them. So keep up with that because I'm kind of anxious to know who that's going to end up being. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this flooding stuff, it's devastating. People just don't understand unless they've ever been, you know what I'm saying, in that situation to where water rises that fast, that quick, you can't get out of it. But if they'd have had those flood horns in, the government is supposed to, within 24 hours, if a flash flood's coming like that and they know that much water's coming in, they're supposed to do the sirens the 24 hours before, because that's what we have now here in Louisiana. And they've got ours set up now. But of course, like I said, that Katrina would have done us no good because, I mean, the floodgates busted. You know what I'm saying?
There was no time.
Nothing you can do about that. Exactly. So, but yeah, I was just gonna say say hey to you and PJ, and I watch y'all all the time. I just stay in the bushes. I broke my leg like 2 years ago, and I was laid up for like a year. Couldn't walk on my leg till my leg got, you know, healed. And so I sit up and watch y'all.
Okay, well, you be good. Stay safe.
All right, darling. All right, babe. Bye-bye.
All right, peace. I got to work on my Cajun a little bit. She was a little hard to understand in the beginning, but time she got about halfway through what she said, I started being able to make out what she was saying. The first part was a little rough. I was like, okay, I got to work on my crawdad a little bit. All right. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
Hey, I am Dee Lovelace. I'm from Central Texas.
How's it going?
Oh, it's not going too well here. We've lost some people in where I live. And the floods are horrible. It just seems like yesterday, I'm from Wimberley, and we still haven't found the 2 children in Wimberley from our flood.
Oh. So this is hitting really close to home for you.
It's hitting me real close to home. You know, Texas has every disaster area you can think of, pretty much, except for earthquakes. I'm from Corpus Christi, and we moved there the day Celia hit, and lived on Ocean Drive, and woke up with a boat, and we were the only house standing. So we're survivors here in Texas for sure. But I went to those camps as a child. I went to Mo Ranch every summer. I've been on the Guadalupe all my life. And it's a beautiful river. It's a beautiful area. The people there they don't do much in that area except facilitate those camps. The counselors are usually, all us counselors were campers to begin with. So I'm sorry, I'm breaking up a little, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard and now, I'm also from New Mexico. I spent a lot of time in Taos, and Ruidoso is got 119 people missing right now.
Is that how many people it is?
119. I just saw it.
Oh wow! I know we started watching the floods, and it was insane. I mean, that water was moving fast.
It really just gives you like almost a PTSD just to see it. And I personally have been in floods, of course, but I've never been carried away in a car or vehicle. I've been real close, but I think the camps is what really just hit home with a lot of us here.
Mm-hmm.
So many people have spent so much time in that area, and just splashing around the river. You just don't think about it. And I get kind of upset when people keep saying that there's indigent people being lost along the riverbanks. They're not indigent. There are grandparents in their RVs.
Yeah.
There are people that just travel the states, and they're all good sweethearts, and they're just spending the day. And unfortunately, a lot of them aren't regulated. So we don't know. We don't know how many RVs even went down the river. We don't know. And until we get an accurate count, which it seems to just constantly be going up, we're all just a little on edge, and everybody is doing everybody's volunteering, and the area is, one thing I can tell you is the smell. It's really bad. And it reminds me of Wimberley. Here in Wimberley, it happened the same thing. The Blanco River came up overnight, and there was a house that went down the river in the middle of the night. The family was still in it, and the wife, I think the only one that survived was the husband, but the wife had to call her sister and say goodbye from her house going down the river.
Wow.
And her two little children were never found. Never. And I'm praying that they're able to get the search and recovery. But from experience, they're not. I really don't think they're going to find everybody.
I'm seeing at least 3 dead in flash floods in New Mexico.
In Ruidoso? Yeah, the reports I'm getting is they said this morning they have something like 161 missing.
Wow.
Now, hopefully that's all just, lack of accountability right now.
Uh-huh.
I really hope. But, I just wanted to say thank you for bringing light to this, because we really, obviously, we need the state and the locals to do the right thing and put up sirens. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You live on a coastline, aren't you? Aren't
Yes.
you near a coastline?
Yes. Yeah.
That's one thing I wanted to tell you real quick. Not to break the subject, but did you ever get your tiki hut inspected?
No, they inspected this. They're coming to get it inspected this week.
I was going to tell you. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was going to tell you. My mother was. For 10 years, she was a hurricane windstorm inspector for the Texas coastline. The only woman. She rode up on roofs till she was 70 years old. And let me tell you, if you can find yourself a good inspector,
that will be
the most valuable person, because you can ask them for your codes. Anytime you can just call them, hey, I'm going to do this. What do I need to do? Usually they won't give you a charge. They'll just give you free information. They will get you, when you do an actual inspection, they'll charge you. But if they're a good one, they will be there for you.
Yeah. Like, I'm just hoping they don't mess with me on nothing else.
I do too. I do too. It's kind of silly. Like, we always laughed at some of the things that they go after, and it's not the inspector's fault. The inspector's just doing the job, you know, but at least they can tell you, you can say, hey, I'm going to do this. Is anybody going to give me a problem about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they won't.
So,
but I just wanted to say, hey, I don't really have much more. I'd love to talk about some other stuff, but that's not on the agenda right now. I just wanted to say hello, and I wanted to say thank you for spreading the awareness.
Not a problem.
Because we really need it here.
All right. You be good. Stay safe.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace. All right. What you're seeing on the screen right now is the flood from New Mexico. And right now it's confirmed 3 people dead. According to the caller, 160 people missing. That water rose within 30 minutes also. So, hey, Dolly, you're building a tiki hut. I already built the tiki hut, but I needed a building permit for it. So I had to go get the building permit. But what I didn't realize is I live on the Chesapeake Bay Preservation. And so when I went to get the building permit, they said, well, you need permission from the Chesapeake Bay Preservation to build something on your property. And I was like, what? So then I had to go meet with the developers and the Chesapeake Bay Preservation people to ask them, could I build a tiki bar that I'd already built? And they were like, yeah. So they signed off on my building permit. So, but it's just the hassle of all of it to build a little tiki bar in my backyard, right? So if you haven't seen it, I posted pictures of it, but I got it done now. I got my tikis up and my TV mounted. It's pretty nice. It adds a lot to the backyard area. So, but like I said, we're watching the flooding that's going on in New Mexico right now. And I don't know what the death toll will rise to here. Right. But as of now, right now, according to the news, it says 3 are confirmed dead. And there are people missing, but we don't know the exact numbers yet. Let's see. This says trap 3 killed. Flash flood New Mexico resort town killed 3. Trapped dozens in homes and vehicles. Okay. Let me see. Just a flash flood hits Forest Cabin Village. And it came in so quick. But it don't say how many people are missing. It's a popular retreat as well as a ski resort. The nice mountain range, south central New Mexico. It's located about 115 miles of Albuquerque, the state's largest city. Okay, so about an hour from Albuquerque. That water, the power of that water ain't no joke. Praying for strength and comfort. So as more information comes in on the situation there in New Mexico, I will definitely let you guys know. Somebody says, do your research for donating. Yeah, make sure you're donating to, you got to remember when tragedies happen, scammers come out the woodwork. And so if you are going to donate, make sure you're donating to a legitimate campaign that's the money is going to go help these people in Texas, you know, and things like that. Hi, Dolly. And our family cottage, which is in Port Clark, and you have to get a permit from the county and approved from the native as well. Okay. Well, I guess the whole Chesapeake Bay preservation has to do with keeping the water clean, right? I guess. And it was enacted So that's why they have the ability to say, hey, you can't put this here or you can't put that there. I think it's basically anything that could possibly pollute the water. And I don't even live directly on the water. You know, so I'm like, damn, the river's down the street. So I mean, but I have a whole new respect for flooding that I didn't have before. Okay, the Chesapeake Bay Preservation includes everywhere on the coast. Never heard of it till I looked it up. Okay, well, I'm just telling you what they told me. Yeah, I asked guys to have their permission to build anything. Okay, it's weird. I like, you know, you own things, but you can't do what you want to do with your own property. And think about this, all this stuff destroyed, you know, people are going to come in and gouge for these homes, like the properties. They're going to, you know, try to pay them off as little as they can. Insurance companies are going to be trying to drop people's insurance. And then the houses that won't destroyed, their insurance payments are going to go up so high because insurance companies, they're in it to make money, not lose money. And anytime something like this happens, all it does is jack up everybody in that area's rates. So where the rates get so high, you can't afford insurance. I live by the river too. So, I mean, anybody who lives near the water has to worry about flooding. Okay. You know, anytime there's a surge, even the ocean or rivers, you have to worry about that. And I'm in a flood area, you know, it floods. It just don't flood. I haven't never seen nothing like this. Now there's parts of Virginia that gets flooding like this, but that's more of a northern, what is it? More of the western part of Virginia? Because it don't flood like that down near the coast. I mean, it does if there's like huge storm surges. But like I said, I may have seen maybe at the most 2 foot of water. Never nothing like 30-foot water surges with houses floating down the road. Praying for the people in Texas and the people in New Mexico. Right? We got to pray for everybody these days. It's just the weather. Mother Nature ain't no joke, and she destroys things fast. Like, terribly fast. You know, we got 1,000 people in the room, and we only got 797 likes on this video. Okay? So do me a favor, guys. If you're just tuning in, you may not have heard me say it the first 1,000 times that I said it. Do me a solid. Hit the like on the video. Let's see if we can hit 1,000. We're at 798 right now. So I need 200 people out there watching to hit the like button. And then I'll shut up about the likes. Okay? But we're at 806 right now. So we're getting closer. All right. North Carolina flooded this week again too. Yeah, I've been hearing about flooding in Carolinas. I haven't seen how bad it is yet because we've been covering the Texas stuff. Captain Kurt. But I mean, Carolina floods a lot. I mean, Carolina got like, you want to live in a place that has like bad national disasters constantly, move to North Carolina. Okay. I mean, they get tore up by hurricanes, flooding, everything hits Carolina. I mean, it just is what it is. Okay, what are we talking about? Airline flights? How long since flood started? This flood started, hold on, I don't want to say nothing wrong. Let me ask AI. Apparently it started being reported on about 6 hours ago. 8 hours ago. I guess it started 8 hours ago, and of course now 3 people are dead. Houses floating down the streets. And they're saying it's a historic flash flood by a town that's been ravaged by wildfires. And that they're saying because of the wildfires that the water flows downhill quicker and creates more stronger flooding because of the fire. I've never heard that, but then again, I've never lived in an area that does something like this. Yes, yes. If cats had thumbs. Yes, it is. This is New Mexico. We were just watching Texas, but we jumped over to, to show people what's going on in New Mexico. And we're trying to cover both at once since, today is Dolly Flood Day, apparently. That swift water will end you. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in it. I mean, this don't look as bad as, what it was in Texas, but it still looks pretty bad. And I don't know how widespread this is. Is this all over New Mexico, or is this just one little town in New Mexico? But either way, not good. When houses are floating down the street, that's not a good sign. Okay. It's all fun and games till the damn house floats away and hits a tree. But something that looks that shallow, right here, it looks shallow. It seems like you could evacuate. Because it seems like it's staying in a confined area. Helena says, please hit that like button. There was horses in those stables. Well, I wouldn't want to be a horse in that. I don't know how good. I know horses can swim, but I don't know how good they can swim in rapids. Thank you, Dolly, for accepting my call. No, not a problem. Are the phone lines still open? Yeah, the phone lines are still open. Very dark. Yeah, this is a lot of mud. You can tell this came down off a mountain because there's a big ski resort there. So you can tell this water's flowed down the mountain. That's how it's gained so much speed. And like I said, with the wildfires they had, it burned up all the trees that would, slow down some of the force of this water. But it's just going straight down a clean shot, and it's making the water more powerful. We seen dumpsters beating up against houses in the other video. Is the home of a horse racing track? Okay, I didn't know that. Never been there. I've never been to New Mexico. I thought all this place, Texas and New Mexico, were dry as hell. I thought that was damn near desert. They got all this flooding going on. Look at that. That ain't no joke right there, boy. Now, if you didn't have all those trees and you had a good surfboard, you could ride that. It's all the debris that's in the water that's what's so dangerous. Because you get into the water, and you stay afloat, you good. But something hits you, definitely not good. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly. This is Sugar Magnolia.
Hey, Sugar.
I'm from Tennessee. And I live on the river. We've got about, almost 6 acres here. But our dam is just about 4 houses down from me. And they slowly let the water out. But I've seen it up, which I'm about, I guess, an acre from the river. It kind of goes downhill, so it'll settle. And but it ain't no joke when it starts. I
No.
mean, it'll rise and run, and you know, we
Yeah.
buried all our dogs down there except two.
Yeah, they
And,
open them
of course,
dams so it don't bust the dam, you know, so they got to let some of the pressure off the dam. So they'll usually open them up and let a lot of that water flow out. And it's either that or the dam busts and all the water pour out, and they don't want that. So sometimes
have you ever heard of Rock Island, Tennessee?
Rock Island, Tennessee, not right off the bat. I may have heard of it, but I don't remember.
It's a beautiful place, and it's usually kind of low water, but there's a dam out there, and it did break a little bit. But they fixed it and repaired it and everything. But no, it gets rough out Rock Island. I'm kind of at least in a zone where it don't rush like this. But it's my house. It's my cottage that I took care of my grandparents in, and my mom and daddy live next door, and then the house that we built next door. She's my best friend, one of them, and but right on down there's an Airbnb, and it's usually empty, you know. So I don't know what they do because they don't have as much room as we have for its rise. So I'm just praying for everybody. And hoping that I sound terrible on there, but I'm just Southern. So
it's all good. I understand. I sound like a hillbilly myself.
What it is. But I thought I had you turned down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for taking my call, and I'll just keep praying for everybody.
All right.
You have a blessed day, okay?
You
Give
too.
PJ my love.
I will. You be good. Till next
All
time.
right.
All right. Peace. Okay. So we didn't have Louisiana call in. We didn't have multiple people from Tennessee call in. Okay. Texas. And this is right here during, this is back to Texas now. So let's jump over to this.
Right now, I just had one. I actually met Jimmy. I appreciate y'all so much.
Be high up, so. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Oh, the lake went. The Medina River got up higher than it has since Georgetown. Oh, I know. I just noticed that.
Dolly.
Hi, Dolly. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm right now in St. Louis. Is my background too loud?
No, you're good.
All right, because I got my wife's on the phone. What listen to you, and I'm from right now. We're up in St. Louis. I was going to go down there to Dallas, not Dallas, but Texas to help them, and then the sheriff said, "No, we don't need any help." Like that was like 3 days ago, and then yesterday I heard that they want more help. Like
3 days ago, they did what now?
They wouldn't let me come down to help them.
Oh yeah. They want trained searchers right now, I guess, you know, because of the situation. But I don't know if they're turning people away, but they're saying don't come help, which I think let everybody that wants to search and find these people.
Right. You got to be smart to stay away from the danger area.
Yeah.
And guess what I did yesterday?
What'd you do?
I was being a dolly. I fell.
Oh, Lord. What happened?
I was delivering someone's rodeo order to them up in Kearney, and then they had this sidewalk that wasn't quite done, about 10 or 15 feet, and there was some rocks trying to go through there, and I just went, bam.
Oh, you done wiped out, huh?
Yeah. I was like, I'm being dolly.
To be a dolly. I'm telling you, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. If you're trying to head plant, you can be like Dolly. I fall on my head all the time. That's my excuse.
one time I did really knock myself out. It scared the heck out of my wife.
Wow, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I had a fat lip, and I was barely walking. I was doing edible arrangements. I just delivered their fruit to them, and I went, bam!
Yeah.
And my wife heard a big old thump and felt the earthquake through it, on her car, like, where's Robert at?
Yeah, I mean, shit happens. I mean, I haven't fell on my head in a little while, but the last time I did, it wasn't good.
No, I had to go emergency room.
Did you?
How bad I was
Wow.
hurting.
Well, last time I
like,
busted my head open, I tried to step over the pet gate. We had a pet gate that did. Now we got one that has a door, so you can open it and walk in between it. Because I did have one you had to step over, and my foot got caught on it, and I head planted the ground, and we got hardwood floors in the house. So I didn't realize how bad I was hurt because I just kind of laid there for a minute. But when I got up, I realized I had busted my head open, and I was streaming. So everybody on the live stream heard me fall. And then when I sat down, blood was pouring down my face. I was like, that's why I always tell people, don't be Dolly at home. It's dangerous. You know,
it's really dangerous.
Yeah. So, hey, well, look, I appreciate you calling.
No problem. I wish I could go up to North Carolina and help them out.
Yeah. Storm season's coming. It ain't even really storm season yet, hurricane season. So usually that's when it gets bad, hurricane season. So
yeah,
what is that, into September? So just a few months, and then the weather takes that crazy turn. Anytime it goes from hot to cold or cold to hot, it seems like that's when the storms are the worst.
Right, and we was just down in Wichita Falls, Texas. And it's hot. It's really hot and dry heat.
Yeah,
and
that's how Vegas is, dry heat. It was 125 when I was in Vegas last.
We went there too. We traveling. We sold our house and just traveling the world.
Hey, that's the good life. I mean, I wish I could do that. We can't do it financially. So,
right.
I mean, it costs a little bit to travel. So, but maybe one day I'll be there where you're at.
Yep. I went to Texas. I went to Oklahoma. We went to Vegas, to New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Awesome. Sounds like fun. I like the road. I like being on the road. I like seeing new places, meeting new people. So, if I could afford me one of those nice RVs, and I would just do the same thing. Me and PJ would travel, and I would stream from the RV.
Yeah, I have another question for you. Like Comic-Con or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. So you're not going to be there?
I mean, I may. I don't know. It's looking like I'm not going to be at CrimeCon because they won't let me get a booth. They think I'm too controversial. It's in Colorado, so I don't know. I may skip it, but I'm going to GalaxyCon at the end of this month.
Okay, what about for Stephen Stearns? Are you going to be down there for?
Yes. I'm already talking to Florida. I don't know. PJ would have to tell me. She keeps up with all the dates. But yeah, I'm going to be down there for Stephen Stearns.
Okay, because I think it's 22nd, isn't it? But this month.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those situations where I go down to Florida. I'm going to be at GalaxyCon for 3 days.
That's what I was thinking about going to.
What, the GalaxyCon?
No, actually, it's Stephen Stearns.
Oh, yeah, I'll be down there for at least a week of Stephen Stearns. And
on the 22nd?
I'll be there from Tuesday to Tuesday because that's the cheapest flights. If you fly out on a Tuesday, if you fly out on a Tuesday and fly back in on a Tuesday, it's the cheapest flights. So
that's a couple weeks, Tuesday of that week.
Yeah, I'll be down on a Tuesday and fly back on a Tuesday. So I'm going to be in Florida for a week. But I think that I don't know exact date of GalaxyCon, but I'm going to go to GalaxyCon. PJ got me a thing where I get to meet Art the Clown in full costume.
Art the Clown?
Yeah, you know who that is?
No. I'm old, but not old.
Oh, he's the star of the movie Terrifier. It's a horror movie. It's like a B flick gore movie, and but it's like one of my favorites. So PJ got me a meet and greet with Art the Clown. So I'm going to go down there and meet. Yeah, so I'm going down.
You're a clown head.
No, I don't really like clowns. I just like horror movies.
I know. I like scary movies too.
Well, check out Terrifier. Terrifier 2. 2's okay, but 3 is probably the best one.
We went and seen Final Destination.
Yeah. We went last night and seen what it was, 28 years later.
Yeah.
It was the dumbest movie on the fucking planet. But look, hey, I appreciate you calling in.
All right. Thanks, Dolly. I'll see you down there.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah, so I will be in Florida for the Stephen Stern stuff. The end of this month. When is Galaxy Con, PJ, that I'm going to? It's I believe it's Raleigh, North Carolina. Helena, he's spoiled. Yeah, I'm pretty spoiled. So I'm gonna be down there for a couple days, just checking out comic books, and there's a whole bunch of people from 90210s there. Art the Clown's gonna be there. There's a whole bunch of July 27th. So I thought Stephen Stern's was August or September. I know Crime Con is September, but me and PJ have been talking about skipping it this year and doing something else. Because they don't really, I don't know. They say Dolly Vision is too controversial, right? And I don't think I'm that controversial. Me, myself. But, all right, let's go back and listen to this because I was talking. Oh, if you was going to go see 28 years later, save your money. Okay. I just saved you a lot of money. That movie is dumb as hell. Okay.
Thank you for informing us. Dolly is another topic as crime, and we foreigner learn more about the U.S. Unbelievable how strong American folks are.
Yes, Claudia. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so I was going to go out to Boise for Kohlberger, but that's over, so I don't have to do that. So change of plans on that one. Stephen Stearns, I am going to be in Florida for a week covering that live from the courthouse, so you guys make sure y'all tune into that. And I got a little 3-day vacation coming up where I'm going to be a comic, just a nerd. I get to go nerd out for a couple of days, probably 2 days, and meet like some horror movie people and comic book people and stuff like that. And like I said, we haven't made up our mind about Crime Con. We've been discussing it, and since they don't show any love to us, because we've tried to get a booth at Crime Con for 2 years, and they've denied me every time. Not only denied me, but refunded my money. Who gives money back? Okay. I don't refund nobody. Okay. So, but they refunded it. They didn't like us so bad. They gave us the money back. I was like, damn. So, but they told me that, I was too controversial for Crime Con. And I really don't see that. I mean, I discuss true crime no different than anybody else. I mean, and their head person last year was Nancy. How many times has she accused people of things? Called Top Mom, and she's controversial. I love Nancy, don't get me wrong. Okay. That's where I get my shit from, is Nancy. Right? So I'm no more controversial than Nancy. Now, this year, their main person is Chris Hansen. Okay. That dude writes bad checks and I've been locked up. Am I more controversial than Chris Hansen? He can't even pay his bills. All right. If he wrote a check to Crime Con, it would bounce. I think he still owes some wedding planners. I don't get that, right? I'm too controversial, but you got Mr. Chris Hansen, bad check writing ass. You got damn Nancy. I love Nancy. I can't even say nothing bad about Nancy, right? But she be accusing people. She be accusing. So I don't get it. How the hell am I too controversial? So, but no love for. I'm like the redheaded stepchild of true crime, right? No respect. The Rodney Dangerfield of true crime. Always been one of my favorite actors and comedians anyway. I get treated just like him. No respect. None.
You know, I've got 2 babies at home. It's the least I could do. You know, they're home safe, and there's people out there that they're missing their children or their family members. So I feel like it's the least I could do to help. So. Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy.
It's what I would want if my kids were missing. So. Yeah.
Could it be the thumbnail, says Drippy? What thumbnails? I mean, my thumbnails are no more clickbait than anybody else's thumbnails, right? They're the same. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I did something to piss somebody off, or they had a different opinion than of me, you know, the people. But back when I used to have do a little bit of crime, that a lot of people wrote CrimeCon and told them not to give me a booth, right? Or tagging me and shit, me going to jail in Georgia, and they were tagging me in it. And I think CrimeCon seen it, was like, oh, hell no, right? But you're talking a career of what, the last 4 years? I got in trouble one time, and then they dropped the charges on me. I mean, I was proven innocent, but then I guess it looked bad, and they were like, nah, right? But you got to remember, like, you know, all these people are like, Dolly, you going to jail, I never even went back to Georgia. Not only did I not go to jail, I didn't even show up to court. My lawyer handled all that, right? I didn't, nothing. So, I mean, what have I done that's so controversial? I was found not guilty. I told you, innocent to proven guilty in this world. So that means I was innocent that whole time. Or did I buy my freedom? Which one is it? Okay. Did I pull a Karen Reed? I might have pulled a little bit of a Karen Reed on that one. This here, take the money. Leave me alone. Because that's all they want anyway. That's all the court system really wants from you. They didn't say what they denied you for this time. Yeah, they just denied me. They didn't give me a reason this time. They could at least hit me back and been like, you're ugly. Okay. Your face. This is a crime convention, not a horror movie convention. Your face is like Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 7. It could have gave me something, you know, but just to leave me hanging, like, yeah, not today, Satan, not today. We ain't looking at your face. But here's the thing is, I went to the last one. You know, I got to meet everybody. I walked around, shook hands, kissed babies, took pictures with people. You know, I could do it again, but I just wanted a place to sit. And I was willing to pay $1,200 for a table and a chair. Okay, $1,200 for a table and a chair. Plus the money it costs to get in. You still you pay to get in. So you're talking $2,000 for me to sit down and be able to shake hands and kiss babies. No, no, damn. Won't even take my money. Damn. Your thumbnails are way less clickbait. Until recently. Well, I mean, I make my thumbnails to where people want to click on and view what's going on. I mean, I never lie in my thumbnails, right? My thumbnail tonight is what? Texas flash floods, more bodies found. That's an absolutely true statement. And it's a picture of the flood. So there's nothing about that, my thumbnail right now, that is clickbait. You know, yeah, I don't lie in my titles. You know, I think if you put a title up in a thumbnail that have nothing to do with what you're talking about, then that is clickbait. But my titles are always what the video was about. I don't know about that, but a channel gotta eat, right, Dolly? Channel gotta eat. I don't know if the channel gotta eat, but the people running the channel do. Okay, I gotta eat. I know that. I saw Kohlberger's plea. We do this every time. Geez, please stop. So what is his channel and his life? 100. Yes. Some people get mad at me when I talk about things different than, you know, listen, I'm here for hours. So sometimes I'll be talking about, you know, the situation we got going on right now, and you can only talk about, I try to mix things up and add a little bit of my life in it with it, right? And some people don't like that. They're like, stick to the topic. I tuned in to hear about the Texas floods and you're talking about CrimeCon. Well, I've been talking about the Texas floods for 2 hours, over 2 hours, 3 hours, right? Since 8 o'clock this morning, 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 hours. So sometimes I'll go off track for a few minutes and then I get back on track. So it's just part of the channel, you know. I share a little bit of my life experiences, some of my stories, you know, that type of stuff mixed in with the news.
It's gut-wrenching watching all of this happen. I mean, it happened so fast, and I wanted to come out sooner, but I also didn't want to be in the way of waiting for things to get done. So, you know, we came out to as quick as we could to help search, hopefully to find people that are still alive. So, but it's devastating looking at everything, and to think that this was underwater 2 days ago is tugs on my heart. So.
Oh, we're almost at 1,000 likes.
Best case scenario is we find some folks who are still alive, get them the help that they need, and just send them back to their families for a happy reunion. Best possible ending to this scenario, but we recognize that 3 days out, there's likely a fair amount of folks who unfortunately did not survive as well. But being able to find the remains and perhaps let their families know some clarity on what exactly happened for sure. I know if I was in that situation myself, it would bring me some closure knowing definitively what happened instead of continuously holding out, wondering if the one I love is still out there. Seeing all the devastation and the trees and the clothing, the random bits of flotsam floating around the river really hits home, you know, how many people are affected by this, the depth of the tragedy and destruction that we're all going through right now. So that gives quite a somber feeling to just be out here seeing it in person rather than just on the news.
All right, we got a press conference getting ready to kick off. We're going to bring this over. All right. We're just waiting on the people. Yep, we're just waiting on it. So as soon as it kicks off, I got it pulled up. All right, don't break up on me. All right, here we go. This is better quality. Let me pause this and bring this one in.
Okay, here's our morning update for July 8th. Search efforts continue throughout Kerr County. As of 8 a.m. this morning, Central Time, there are 95 deceased. I'm going to kind of break down the numbers for you. On adults, there's 59, unidentified 14. Children, 36, unidentified 13. Camp Mystic currently still has missing 5 campers and 1 counselor. Officials report there are 161 missing people in Kerr County area. Community members are asked not to conduct debris management of their property until directed by law enforcement. There is also a no burn ban in Kerr County at this time till further notice. Let me give you a visual. I know probably all of y'all have been in our community capturing the aftermath of this disaster. But with that said, also
that's just Kerr County.
Is 1,100 square miles of beautiful but complex hill country. There are rural areas that may experience extended response times, areas where cell service is spotty, where the area is single lane bridges and low water crossings. Sometimes evacuations is not the safest. Sometimes it's better to shelter in place. The hill country is not a one size fit all place. First responders from emergency services throughout Kerr County promptly responded to the recent emergency as the situation unfolded. As with other significant events that are emergencies services encounter, this incident will be reviewed. You have my word. When or if necessary, if improvements need to be made, improvements will be made. What I'd like to do right now is kind of give you a breakdown. You know, I believe the latest report I had, we have 2,100 people out here at some capacity on this incident. As far as Kerr County Sheriff's Office right now, what our office is currently doing, it's kind of it's an all hands on deck. Everybody we got are out here, but also we have an additional 2,000 plus people helping us. But as far as our patrol division, you know, right now they're involved in answering calls. Y'all have to remember, we still got day-to-day calls we have to handle, but they're also involved in different kinds of rescue and recovery efforts. My CID division, Criminal Investigation Division, is assisting with operations at the funeral home. They're also assisting with the identification process. My SOD division, Special Operations Division, is searching through heavy debris with heavy equipment. They're distributing assets with the Texas Game Wardens. They're also involved in recovery operations. Also, they're working with DPS special agents on all recovery processes and with the volunteer fire departments. Our communications is overseeing the communication operation liaison with DPS also. Our emergency management, Thomas, is in the EOC center. Also with my chief, they're both in the EOC center. At this time, I brought a couple of the guys. I was going to let Captain Jason Waldrop say a few words. Jason has been in the field, hands on deck this whole time. I hadn't been able to get out of here a lot. There's a lot to manage here. He's actually witnessed several things. He's kind of going to give you a few ideas and updates on what's going on in the field, where he's been and what he's been seeing. And then we'll turn over to Sergeant Jack Lamb. Captain Jason Waldrop. Nope. Go ahead.
So the sheriff just wanted me to kind of give you all an update on some of the things that we as the sheriff department can do. One particular thing that we have done in order to help assist in locating the missing is we have coordinated a team with a local construction company, the Texas Department of Public Safety, some fire departments from within Kerr County, a fire department from Acuna, Mexico, and we are looking and searching the deeply impacted flood debris along the river. So these areas are where a lot of this debris is bottlenecked. So it's a lot of large trees, it's a lot of the vehicles, it's a lot of home structures have built up in these areas. So we are using very heavy equipment, excavators, skid loaders, to remove this material and do a deep impact search of where this is. So what we ask is for those who are out there working, the local residents, the families of the missing, even some of the search teams, if you see these very large excavators working, please avoid these areas. We are trying to control these work sites. We have spotters on the ground. So as this material is being removed, we are looking for anything of a sign of a person that may be within this material. These operators have very limited vision with these large excavators, so please avoid these areas that they're working. We're still spotting areas up and down the river where we can take apart these materials and hopefully locate some more of the missing. So that's one main thing that we've been doing along the river to help this process.
Thank you. Morning. Jonathan Lamb, Kerrville Police Department. We want to remind folks that if you've reported a loved one missing and they've returned home safely or been found safely, it's vitally important that you let us know that that person is no longer among the missing. We need to keep an accurate count, as accurate as possible. So if you've reported somebody missing and they've been recovered safely, please let us know. Go to the website, kerrvillemissing.dps.texas.gov, or call 830-258-1111. And once again, kerrvillemissing.dps.texas.gov, 830-258-1111. We are actively working to ensure that we have an accurate count so that we know who to look for. And now I want to talk to the people here in this community, inside the city limits of Kerrville, people in Kerr County. A few things. We know that folks are beginning to clean up. We have large debris piles. And we ask them not to use heavy equipment to take down those debris piles until they've been checked by a search party, because it's possible there are victims in that debris pile.
That's what I said earlier, that they're all in the big piles.
Our non-emergency numbers at the police department and the sheriff's department, and let us know that you've got a debris pile that needs to be checked before you begin that level of cleanup. Sheriff Letha mentioned the burn ban. That's countywide. We need people to respect that. Do not burn during this time. And we continue to ask people to steer clear of the area and let our first responders work. Again, this operation is ongoing and continuous. Our first responders are trying to get to places to do their jobs. And people coming here from outside the community and people within the community who want to go sightsee and look at the river, see the flood damage, it's making our job very hard. We ask folks to give us room to work. I want to talk a little bit about the events that happened on the morning of July 4th, what the Kerrville Police Department and other first responders were doing in those early morning hours. And I want to start outside of Kerrville, out in Hunt. Now, for those of you who went out there yesterday with the governor, y'all know that Highway 39 crisscrosses the Guadalupe again and again and again. And all of those low water crossings, when they flood, they create islands where you can't get in and you can't get out. trapping people in their homes, trapping people in vehicles. And that's what happened on the morning of July 4th. One of our patrol sergeants lives out there in Hunt. And he got up, he got ready to go to work. And he realized when he hit the intersection of FM 1340 and Highway 39 that he was trapped on an island that was Hunt, Texas. And he saw people, dozens of people trapped on roofs. He saw people trapped in swift moving water. He gave them encouragement over his public address system in his vehicle. He told them to be strong, that he would get to them as quickly as he could and to hang on. And he knew he needed help. He went to another detective, Kerrville Police Department detective who lives out there, and he woke him up and he said, "It's bad. I need you to get your gear on and come find me." And then he went back out. And for 13 hours, those two officers, along with some Hunt volunteer fire department firefighters and an emergency room doctor, provided care to that Hunt community. When it was safe to do so, they waded into the water and they rescued people. They got people down off of roofs. They collected them there at the Hunt school. There was a young boy with a pretty severe leg injury that was given first aid treatment throughout the day. Other people came. Many of them were injured. They provided first aid. They coordinated helicopter evacuations for the most critically injured, communicated the situation back to our emergency dispatch center of the Kerrville Police Department. When the waters began to recede, they knew that vehicles would be making their way out there when it was safe to do so. So they went back and forth, clearing out debris to clear a path for those vehicles. They saw helicopters flying back and forth, making recoveries upriver, evacuating those summer camps. And they were by themselves on that island that was Hunt, Texas, doing what they do, serving, protecting, and helping, until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, when other emergency workers and high-profile vehicles were able to get out there. And here in town, the early morning hours is still dark. Our officers realized that areas of town that traditionally don't flood were going to flood, and that low-lying areas close to the river were in danger. Our officers spent hours going back and forth. In that first hour, they evacuated over 100 homes and evacuated and rescued over 200 people. And to say that doesn't even come close to explaining the actions that took place. Door to door, waking people up, convincing them that yes, the floodwaters are coming and you need to leave now. They rescued people out of vehicles. They rescued people out of homes that were already flooding, pulling them out of windows. They entered water. There's a trailer park that flooded in minutes. One officer was there by himself and he realized, I need help. He sounded his siren, driving up and down those streets that were beginning to flood, calling on his PA system for folks to wake up and evacuate. And then 2 other officers joined him through first thigh deep, then waist deep, then chest deep water as they went from RVs and trailers and rescued people, carrying them to safety through the water. Out on old FM 689, there were 2 people trapped in the water, clinging to a tree. 2 officers were there when the 3rd one drove up. And one of them was wrapping a 100-foot flex line garden hose around his waist to go into the water and rescue those people. And those 3 officers went into the water, and one of them held that hose and acted as an anchor, while those other 2 made their way to those 2 victims, and they were able to evacuate them safely. Folks, I don't know how many lives our KPD team saved in an hour in Kerrville, but I know that this tragedy, as horrific as it is, could have been so much worse. And finally, I want to tell you about a member of our KPD team. These guys have been working around the clock. 4th of July traditionally is a all hands on deck event for us because we hold an amazing concert on the river. Hands on deck event for a very different reason. But our officers have been working without time off, without any downtime, 16, 18, 20-hour shifts, without complaint. Yesterday was the first day we were able to give a couple of them some downtime. So we sent an officer home to rest. But rather than taking a day off, a much well-deserved day off, he got up and he put on his gear and he volunteered to go out on foot with a ground search party. And he spent his day up and down the Guadalupe River, going over, under, around trees, searching for victims to try and reunite the missing with their families. I think that is Texans helping Texans in the greatest sense of the word. That's what community is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's important right now. I want to continue to thank y'all for helping us spread the messages that need to be spread. Before I open this up for a very few questions, just ask you to please, just ask you to please say your name and who you're with before we do that. Yes, sir, right here. Oh, I'm sorry. The mayor is supposed to speak now. I apologize. Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. As Jonathan Lamb has said, this is a story of tragedy, but it's also a story of heroes. Captain Walter, thank you for all you've done. Every first responder, thank you for all you have done. The recent numbers reported break my heart. And they break the heart of everyone up here, everyone who's been working since July the 4th. I want you to know, I think it's important for the public to know, I think it's important for the families to know. In that emergency operations center, there's not little silos of departments and agencies. They're working as one team with one goal, to find the missing and bring them home. I'm grateful for every first responder, every helper in every field. Those who are feeding the hungry, those who are providing shelter to people who have no home, those who are providing clothing, who no longer have a wardrobe. I'm also grateful for the generosity of the world. 2 companies that are hometown companies that started in Kerrville, Texas, announced today and yesterday that they will be donating to the relief effort. Everyone in Kerrville is proud. And James Avery Artisan Jewelry. Had a different name for so long, I'm sorry. Those 2 companies started here. Their heart is here. We are committed to helping others. After you all go home or go to the next story, we will still be here. We live here. We've lost friends here. If you feel able to donate to the relief fund, the best source we are recommending is the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. That's the community their website is communityfoundation.net. There's a link at the top of that page to help you donate. Now listen, I'm married to a retired first grade teacher. And I learned a little bit about classroom management from her. If you yell questions at us, we're probably going to pick someone else to answer, okay? So if you feel the need to yell your questions, I will feel the need to not answer your question. In first grade, they raised their hands. That might be a good start. Yesterday was a disaster, and I was embarrassed. Our town was embarrassed. Your viewers were embarrassed. And I don't want that to happen again.
That's because you couldn't answer the questions or why the system broke down and failed.
I'm going to turn it back to Jonathan Lamb to start the question and answer period. However, please make my retired first grade teacher wife proud and raise your hands. Thank you.
They don't want nobody to go, why you fail? Why ain't there no alerts?
Say your name, please, and who you're with. And I had already called on you, so yes, sir.
Attorney's going to go with case at 12 state. Question for the sheriff. The code red alert system has come under a lot of scrutiny in recent days, and now there's reports of a timeline on Friday morning where an Ingram volunteer fire department commander asked the Kerr County Sheriff dispatcher for the code red to be issued. The dispatcher says, I can't, I have to get a supervisor's approval for that. Almost 6 hours passes until 10 o'clock when 10:04 when the code red is issued. How do you account for that lapse of time? What happened and what could have happened in that time?
Okay. As I've said earlier, with every significant event, you know, we're going with every emergency, you know what, we're going to have to, there's going to be an after action. Please, y'all, listen to those words, after action. Okay. Those questions are going to be answered. I believe those questions need to be answered to the family of the missed loved ones, to the public, you know, to the people that put them. And I want that answer, and we're going to get that answer. And I know that's going to be asked over and over. Please understand that. You know, we're not running. We're not going to hide from everything. That's going to be checked into at a later time. I wish I could tell you that time. I don't know that time. Let me share something with y'all. One of the main things I've been doing is going and visiting the family. We still have some of those missed loved ones here. I go visit them twice a day. You know, as a sheriff, you know what I want is I want closure for those people. Okay. And those are important questions. Those are, we will answer those questions. I wish y'all would bear with me in that. Okay. Bear with me. We'll get them. I can't tell you in a week or two. Okay. We're going to get them. I'm not trying to deflect them. Okay. My primary, I mean, I asked you, I've been in this business 36 years. I don't know if any
that shit is deflecting.
Death notifications. I've done them. What is worse, a death notification or telling somebody I don't know where your loved one was? That's my priority. Okay. Now please understand that.
Sergeant Lamb.
Tammy from the Hill Country Community Journal.
Yes, we talked a lot about the recovery effort, and it's amazing, but I wonder what we can tell the displaced families. Where do they go? How do we get in touch with FEMA? I think there's a lot of that we haven't had a chance to discuss.
Right. So unfortunately, I don't have the FEMA number. I know there is a FEMA hotline specifically for this, and I don't have it at my fingertips, and I apologize for that. We are pushing out the recovery information. There's through our social media post. The First United Methodist Church, 321 Thompson Drive, is still the operation for displaced persons through this disaster. They are fully equipped and still accepting folks. Yes, sir. Lewis Amastor from the Kerr County League.
Yeah. Sergeant Lamb, yesterday the governor's office said there was 161 missing. Is that a Kerr County number or is that a roll-up number? Where are we at with the number of missing?
It's my understanding that the number that the governor referred to was a Kerr County number. And again, I have no reason to doubt that number, and it was compiled from the best available information. But we are asking folks to make sure that the numbers that we have are accurate. So if somebody has been reported missing and they have now been accounted for. Please let us know that so we can revise those numbers and make sure that they continue to be accurate. Yes, ma'am.
Over 170 missing.
Yesterday, Governor Abbott said that 2 days prior to the disaster, he had provided resources and they were here on ground. I know this is a question for you, for the mayor, but he said you guys were prepared, that you had those essentials. What happened? Did you guys have those resources?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to just say what has already been said at the appropriate time. All of that is going to be reviewed and checked into. I don't have the answer to that question right now. I don't have that information. And rather than speculate, it would be irresponsible for me to do that. So.
Could you speak on that?
Repeat the question, please.
Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott said 2 days prior to the disaster, he had provided more than enough resources to respond to the disaster. Were those resources here? Locals tell us they didn't see any resources. They didn't see anyone until hours after the disaster.
Thank you.
What resources did you guys have, and why wasn't there any response?
Okay. I didn't see the governor's remarks. I haven't seen the governor's remarks. Last night we had a city council meeting and I was required to be there. And so I'm sorry, I don't know what resources TDM had in place at that time. I know when I arrived at the Emergency Operations Center on the morning of July 4th, there were TDM personnel there. But what assets they were able to use that morning, I'm sorry, I do not know.
Mr. Mayor, can I just
Listen, people are yelling, and I didn't really want y'all to.
If you offer only 3 questions, then you're going to have.
Guess what? You're in Kerrville, and we're going to do it my way.
I understand that.
Morgan Chesky, please.
Mr. Mayor, records show that the concept of flood warnings have been discussed at least 24 times by the county. What's the biggest reason that these systems have not gone into place at this point?
You know, Morgan, you and I grew up here. And I wasn't in office during those discussions. And frankly, I'm more focused on the future than the past, as you know. What I can say is the governor, the lieutenant governor, the speaker of the Texas House have all provided us support, and they have all said this is a priority for the upcoming special legislative session. As mayor of Kerrville, someone who grew up here, I'm grateful for their support, and I look forward to what they proposed in the special session. My last question will be you.
Thank you, sir. Shimon Perkins, CNN. The lieutenant governor said that on July 3rd that the county judges and city mayors were invited on a daily call Thursday to discuss weather forecasts. Were you on that call? Were you invited to that call? Do you know if the county judge was also on that?
I can't speak for the county judge. That would be hearsay. And I'm not going to contradict the information you have, but I will tell you personally, I did not receive a telephone call.
You weren't invited to the call.
I did not receive a telephone call.
And you were never given any information about what assets were brought into the area.
So I wasn't invited to the call. I'm not trying to deflect, but I don't.
Do you know why that? Why how that was? Why that happened?
Maybe I'm not a local mayor. I can't tell. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the decorum that was shown this morning. So as y'all are aware, gentlemen, just do me a favor. I'm not quite finished yet. All right. So as y'all are aware, there's not going to be a 1500 presser. What we are going to do is send out an update, any updates through the email list. And once again, if you haven't gotten on our email list, that's going to be JIC at kerrvilletx.gov. I'll give it to you again, JIC at kerrvilletx.gov. Thank y'all.
Sergeant, what time did your fellow officer, what time did your fellow officer come up
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was muted. They were like, the hell with your questions. Okay. Now, if that ain't deflection, you know, hey, you're going to raise your hand. We ain't first graders. Well, and the press guy said, well, you know, if 3 people, you only going to answer 3 questions. Of course, people are going to be screaming out things like, hey, you know, they want their questions answered. The people want answers of why nobody was alerted. Do you blame the people? I showed y'all here firsthand what happened in 87, right? Which was horrific. Just a little bit we watched of it with the girl falling off the rope 90 feet, losing her life. And you seen what the waters look like. It looks the same. It's a repeat. And they saying this is a 100-year storm. And they're just trying to push the blame of why money wasn't spent to protect people. Why people wasn't notified. I don't blame the reporter. He did a great job. I'd have been screaming too. Right? What are you going to do? Lock me up? Because you don't want to answer questions? Because you don't want to tell the people you failed them? Right? Your system broke down and didn't work? You don't want to tell the people the truth? Right? I guess if you want to tell the truth out here in the world, they don't want that. Some people can't handle the truth. Right? And the truth is this. Y'all had plenty of years to put a system in place that worked. You failed. Everybody should be fired. Put people in there that are competent, that can do the job. Facts. If you was to hire somebody right now and they wasn't doing their job, what would you do? I could say, well, we could retrain them, you know, or we can fire their ass and get somebody that can do the job, right? When you have a job of that magnitude, you should be able to handle the job. You already deflecting when you're saying, hey, I'm going to make you raise your hand. We ain't going to be screaming out because you know what people are going to scream. They're going to scream, why the hell didn't you do your job, Mayor? Why didn't you do your job? Where the hell was you at? Why wasn't you on the phone call about the weather? This storm's coming and your ass is asleep, right? You over there cuddling your first grade teacher's wife, right? Your wife, right? And not worried about other people while you sleeping on your silk fucking sheets. That's what they're scared of. That's why they're not, we're not going to do a 1,500 presser. We'll send out a letter. Because you know what? You can't ask no questions in a letter. You ain't in front of a camera in a letter. You ain't got to take responsibility in a letter. People of Kerrville, do a better job in picking your leadership. And I think you guys know that now. You know it now. You couldn't hear the conference really loud, but you can hear me. Good. I'm more important anyway. I'm telling you the truth. What did you want to hear? 20 minutes of these fuckers lying to you? Because that's what it was. Right? That's what it was. Oh, we don't know. I don't know. We'll worry about that later. Truthful, right? Penny? That just made a lot of people mad. I agree, Sage. You know, deflection, not answering the questions, not taking responsibility. Why not do the adult thing? Say, yeah, the system we had in place failed. We need to do better, and we are going to do better. These lives probably shouldn't have been lost, and we're going to make sure no more lives are lost. Why a lot of people? Okay? People want the truth. They just want you to take responsibility and do better. That's the grown-up thing to do. You do something effed up, you go, man, I effed up. Everybody makes mistakes. Mistakes were made. Clearly. Just say that. Be like, look, the system broke down. It didn't work like we thought it was going to work. We need to revamp the system. We need to do better by you and the people. Y'all deserve better. And we're going to make sure moving forward that that's what you get. Do they need me to come talk? All right. Listen, I don't get paid that good. Peanuts right? Y'all kick me $100 and a plane ticket. I'll do the press conference for you, and I'll tell the people what they need to hear, and that won't piss the people off and make them understand, hey, shit happens, but moving forward, we're gonna make sure it don't happen again. That was the last administration. That was the last mayor's fault. Okay, I'm the new mayor. There's a new sheriff in town, and we doing shit the Dolly way. Okay, and moving forward, we ain't gonna have innocent people just dying, not alerted from a damn 12 inches of rain. Correct, Dolly. Don't y'all feel that? That was a good speech, right? That was better than theirs. Let's be honest. Whose speech was better? Theirs or mine? I would say me all day long, right? I took public speaking in school. No lie, I did. I can't believe I needed a credit to graduate, and it was like a give me credit. You know what a give me credit is? Like you just show up and they give you a credit. But it was public speaking, and I used to go in there and give speeches about how Metallica was the best metal band in the world. Now I think Metallica sucks. If I could go back in a time machine, I would tell young Dolly, hey, Metallica's going to suck one day. But I would give all these different speeches on Metallica or metal bands that I liked, okay, at the time. It was always about a metal band or some music that I listened to. Every speech, because you could write the speeches on whatever you wanted them to be, but you had to get up in front of the class and read your speech, right? So it's basically, there's no way to fail the class. If you ask, unless you can't talk, then you fail. But I needed one credit to graduate early because I graduated in the 11th grade. So I never was a senior in high school. I graduated a year early. Y'all didn't think Dolly was that smart, did you? Right? And went to college. But I graduated a year early, but I took summer school to get the credits I needed. So I went to summer school 3 years in a row. And the last year I took 2 classes. I took U.S. history because you got to have U.S. history to graduate. And I took public speaking. So that's why my speech was better than theirs. Okay. At least fake it till you make it kind of thing. I love doing speeches, but people likely got tired of hearing about my family history and stock car racing. Okay. Well, hey, whatever you're into. The best speeches you can give are when you're passionate about something, that you enjoy, because it's easy to talk on things that you enjoy. So, Dolly, you were lucky my teachers picked our topics, and mine was pro. What did I say? Oh, pro or anti. Okay. That doesn't help a young teen. No, I took summer school. You could give the speeches on whatever you want, but you had to do one daily. Right. So each day you had to write a little speech. You had to get up in front of the class. You had to read it. Right. Or you could memorize it and give it. Right. So it was just a real easy class. Now, U.S. history was hard, but far as public speaking, that was a give me credit is what I call it. You know what I'm saying? Just give that man a credit. Let him get the hell up out of school. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it went down. Only job requirement is bootlicking. Okay, I don't know what the hell that was in reference to. Get on the Dolly trolley. Okay. Well, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I got some other things I need to do. I need to clean up a little bit, eat some lunch, and I am going to come back later this afternoon, and I'm going to be talking true crime, Jack and Lily Sullivan, the disappearance of those 2 kids. I think we've had the latest update all morning on what going on. Plus, in this situation, there's a lot of bigger channels than me talking about it. So I will get back to true crime later this afternoon. So make sure you tune in if you're into true crime. I know, and I'm going to keep doing this during the day. I'm going to try to do, what's going on in the news. And then in the evening, it's going to be nothing but true crime. All right. So current events during the day and then true crime at night. That way I'm not talking, because I feel like, we've talked so much about the Jack and Lily stuff. And I don't want to stop spreading awareness for them kids, but I can only talk about the same thing for so damn long. Okay. So I'm trying to do something to break that up. So current events during the day, true crime at night when I'm live, and I'm going to be back in It's going to be early today. I'm going to be back again today around at least, I would say 2 o'clock or so. I got to clean the pool a little bit. I got to clean up the house a little bit. And then I'll probably be back live with you guys. So thank you for all the new people that have been subbing up the channel. Thank you guys. We're like 200 people away from 71,000 people. I know there's channels out there with a lot more, but hey, that's a lot for me. And I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. If you've been here with me, or if you're a regular and you're here with me every day, thank you guys. Y'all are the best, right? One day when I got 1 million people, I'll remember you guys the most. I'll be like, you were my first 100,000 kids, okay? My family. So thank you guys for being here with me. And so when I look at that plaque for 100,000, your name is on it, along with Dolly Vision. Okay, just remember that. It'll probably just say Dolly Vision, but to me, it'll have each and every one of your names, the first 100,000 people that helped me get that plaque. All right, this is an awesome channel. That's because you are awesome people, right? Awesome people make an awesome channel. It ain't just my ugly face. It's all of you guys together that make Dolly one of the coolest places to be. All right, and definitely check out the merch store. Buy DollySoap.com. Wash your ass just in case something bad happens and the first responders got to rescue you. You don't want to stink. Dolly Soap, keep you clean and your cracks not greasy. Okay, so if you got some cracks and flaps, you got to get up under there, right? I ain't saying you do, but just in case you do got a couple cracks and flaps, you get up in there with some Dolly Soap. Buy DollySoap.com. Body lotions, body washes, soaps, t-shirts, hoodies, you name it, we got it. Buy DollySoap.com. Okay, good way to support the channel. Keep Dolly alive. And remember this: if nobody else loves you in this whole world, Dolly does. Okay, and I'll see y'all in a little while. Peace.